What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 1RJ. Chapter 1. Kokoa West Village. On a sandy beach on the shore, a young man of about 18 or 19 years old slowly walked out of the sea. He was wearing a white robe, his clothes soaked by the seawater and clinging to his body. Finally reached. Ye Chen looked at the scene ahead, and there were some buildings faintly visible outside of Senli. The smoke was rising and there were obviously people living. He is a traverser. After crossing into this world half a month ago, I also awakened the necessary cheat system for the traverser. Sign in system. As long as you sign in at the designated place, you can get special rewards. After Ye Chen awakened the system, the first sign in task was to come to Cocosia Village. It's just that the current Cocosia Village is occupied by evil dragons, and outsiders can't get in at all. To this, Ye Chen took some thoughts and finally came here. System, I'm here. When he reached Cocosia Village, Ye Chen couldn't wait to call the system. This is the base camp of the evil dragon. If there is no strength, staying longer is dangerous. Because this place is guarded by many murlocs, they are patrolling all the time, just for fear that the people of Cocosia Village will run out and expose the things here. And the outsiders who come here are basically killed by the murlocs. So if Ye Chen does not have enough strength, once discovered by the murloc, it will be very dangerous. Ding! Congratulations to host for signing in successfully. Quest reward, get Ryūjin Jakka. Soon, the system prompt sounded. Immediately afterwards, an inexplicable force poured into Ye Chen's body. After a long time, Ye Chen's eyes flickered, the brilliance flowed, and there was an extra sword in his hand. The style was primitive and full of vicissitudes of life. It's like an old antique left over thousands of years. Boom. Almost at the same time, Ye Chen exploded with a breath. The faint breath rose from his body, and then turned into the sea of Wangyang, layer by layer, rolling towards the surroundings. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Like a violent wind sweeping, rolling everything up and destroying everything. This is Reiatsu, a performance of the powerful Reiatsu. Ye Chen received Ryūjin Jakka, the strongest fire system Zanpakuto, and at the same time received vast Reiatsu. These Reiatsu are gifts for Ye Chen to start Ryūjin Jakka. Feeling a series of using skills of Ryūjin Jakka in his mind, Ye Chen looked at Ryūjin Jakka in his hand, and exclaimed, this time it's worth signing in. It's not wasting that I risked my life to come here. In addition to Ryūjin Jakka, the reward for signing in was given to him with a huge Reiatsu, as well as a large number of Ryūjin Jakka skills. These skills are all the skills that the old man of the Shinigami squad leader has cultivated for thousands of years. Shikai, Bankai, and many other Ryūjin Jakka skills he knows, plus the huge Reiatsu. Ye Chen is currently a proper captain-level combat power in the Shinigami world. Although he has just obtained it and is not yet proficient, if all these insights are fully understood, Ye Chen may not be able to reach the level of the captain. Get a handful of Zanpakuto, with a huge amount of Reiatsu, and a series of Zanpakuto skills. I have to say that this reward is too rich, it's just buy one get two free. So worth it. And because of this, Ye Chen's strength has also changed, from a small weak chicken to a terrifying strong. Just as Ye Chen was still feeling the abundance of rewards, a voice came from behind. Who allowed you to approach here? No, he is not from Cocosia Village, but from outside. Kill him. Behind Ye Chen, several murlocs came over one after another, their expressions were green, their eyes were full of killing intent, and they stared at Ye Chen, wishing to give Ye Chen to the corpse. They are all murlocs on patrol, in order to prevent people from Cocosia Village from running out, and also to prevent people from outside from entering Cocosia Village. Expose the affairs of Cocosia Village. If things in Cocosia Village are exposed, it is likely to cause a lot of repercussions. Kill him. The three-headed murloc saw that Ye Chen was an outsider, and a few people did not hesitate to do it. Over the years, many people have come to Cocosia Village. In the end all died in their hands. Boy, don't go anywhere else, just come to us, you are looking for death. It's been a long time since humans have come to die, this time I will take out his heart by myself. It's a pity that those guys in Cocosia Village can't be killed. The speed of the three-headed murloc was very fast, like a cold arrow shot out, quickly came to Ye Chen's side, and headed towards Ye Chen. Upon seeing this, Ye Chen raised his brows, and the three murlocs' punches were fast, but in his eyes, they were like snails, and the flaws were instantly seen. This should be old man Sean's combat experience. Single quote. Ye Chen muttered to himself, quickly avoiding the fist of the murloc. After that, he drew the sword in his hand, and the cold light bloomed. Pouch. A murloc splits his head instantly, and a head rises high, blood is gushing like a fountain, crashing to the ground. These murlocs are too weak, for the current Ye Chen, just like ants, they can be pinched to death at will. Damn it, what speed is this? The remaining two murlocs were horrified, and they hadn't reacted yet, and their companions died directly. The speed is too fast, so fast that they have no time to react at all. He didn't even see Ye Chen draw his sword. Too weak. Ye Chen waved the sword in his hand, slashing as fast as lightning, so that the two murlocs had no chance to react and stepped into the footsteps. Bang bang. Two huge murloc heads fell on the ground, their eyes widened and their faces were incredibly full. They didn't seem to understand why Ye Chen, a thin and feeble human, could give them a second in an instant. After solving the three-headed murloc, Ye Chen looked at the Cocosia village inside, and then said faintly, "Since I start from here, then help them." Chapter 2. Ye Chen put away Ryūjin Jakka and walked inside. His rise starts from here, so you can just destroy the dragon and pirate group at will. Doing this is completely arbitrary. The shore is not far from the village of Cocosia. After a few steps, he came to Cocosia village. In this place, Liao was uninhabited. Everyone hid in the house and hardly came out. Step on. Ye Chen looked around, then stepped on footsteps and walked inside. Because of the evil dragon, the people here were afraid to come out, because once they came out, they might be squeezed by the murlocs. Although it may not be dead, disability occurs frequently. It's also a miracle that waste-like dragons can rule this kind of place for so many years. The strength of the evil dragon is definitely a scum on Grand Line or New World. Unfortunately, this is the East China Sea, the weakest sea. Although there are many strong people, the overall strength is not as good as other sea areas, and even murlocs can rule a place, which is very outrageous. If it is placed elsewhere, the evil dragon would have been killed because of the murloc identity. The murloc and humans were not very much to see. In addition, the evil dragon's behavior also devalued humans. As long as anyone knows, it is estimated that the evil dragon will not be let go. Of course, the evil dragon can do evil here for so many years. The main reason is that it is secretly colluding with Marine, and the person with Marine acts as a protective umbrella for them. Bang! When Ye Chen passed by the center of the street. Suddenly someone opened the door and rushed over. One hand grabbed Ye Chen and said anxiously, "Hurry up and hide. There are many murlocs here. If they see you, they will definitely kill you. The murlocs don't want to see outsiders here. Why hide?" Ye Chen's face was calm, and a smile appeared. "Since these guys are so damn it, why don't you kill them?" Heard this sentence. Nuohigo was stunned. Killed the murloc. They didn't want to think about it, but the murlocs were too powerful, and they didn't have any powerful strength. Facing the vicious murloc, he can only be suppressed. There is no strong in Cocosia village. At this time. At some windows in other rooms, many people watched Nuohigo and Ye Chen secretly anxious. They both stayed for too long. If you continue, you will definitely be seen by the murlocs. We want to kill them too, but those guys are so powerful that we can't compare them. Nuohigo said angrily, and then his tone was helpless. After the evil dragon pirate group was destroyed, the guy in Cocosia village didn't want to. However, this is just a fantasy. Without strong support, facing the dragon and pirate group, it just hit the rocks with the eggs. You can't, I can. Ye Chen smiled faintly. Want to see those dirty murlocs die? If you want, follow me. Heard this sentence. Nuohigo was stunned. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. She didn't know if the young man in front of him was confident or arrogant. Although Ye Chen is handsome and has a warm smile, Ye Chen's body is too thin and does not look like a strong man. Such a man. Is it really possible to slaughter the dragon pirates? Nuohigo was a little skeptical. The reason is that Ye Chen looks a little weak and has no reputation. It is normal to be suspicious of this. At the same time, the two did not know each other. If it were not for the fear of Ye Chen being killed, Nuohigo would not risk it to come out. However, there is no time for her to think. Suddenly. On the street in the distance, a dozen murlocs walked out, all of them pale and angry. Like a gunpowder keg about to explode, it explodes at one point. It didn't take long. These murlocs walked in and saw Ye Chen and Nuohigo. Seeing that Ye Chen didn't look like a person from Cocosia village, and at the same time thinking of the traces of walking on the beach, I instantly thought that Ye Chen might have killed the three murlocs on the shore. He pointed to Ye Chen and said in a cold voice, "You just killed the three people on the shore." Heard this. Nuohigo was shocked and looked at Ye Chen in amazement. He actually did something on the murloc, and also killed three people. The people in the room trembled even more. Now that three murlocs have died, the members of the dragon pirates will definitely be angry, and even act on them. Okay. Ye Chen nodded. It's me. Hearing Ye Chen confess directly, the murloc's face suddenly turned black. After pondering for a moment, he said in a cold voice, "Grab this guy, I will torture this guy well. I want him to experience the painful torture. Single quote. I want him to regret coming to this world." The words came out. The murlocs around suddenly screamed. "I want an arm of this guy. I want a leg. Single quote. Then I want his eyes. Don't grab them with me. Single quote." A dozen murlocs ran over angrily, flaring their teeth and claws, like a demon in hell. It looked a bit terrifying. Humph. Looking at these murlocs, Ye Chen snorted coldly. Pause time. From his body, a strand of Reiatsu rose. Subsequently, Reiatsu ascended and descended like a vast sea of stars. Facing this wave of Reiatsu, everyone was like a mortal facing the gods, and there was only a deep sense of panic in their hearts. Thump. Almost instantly, the surrounding murlocs were struck by lightning, and they were on the ground. They were lying on the ground, unable to move, as if they were burdened by a large mountain. The huge pressure made them unable to move at all. Feel the tremendous pressure. The murloc was frightened. They couldn't imagine why they just snorted, and they couldn't even move. What level of strength is this, or what special ability? Could it be Conqueror's Haki? Saw the Murloc suddenly fall down. Nuochigao, who had planned to work hard, was immediately stunned. What's going on? How come these Murlocs have fallen? Then, she seemed to have thought of something, looked at Ye Chen, and said, what happened to them? They are just too weak. Ye Chen shook his head, then smiled. Weak, like ants, can be crushed to death at will. It's like this. Between words, Ye Chen's Reiatsu suddenly ascended, and the terrifying aura was like a shock wave, impacting the Murloc's body. Boom. Accompanied by a roar, the Murlocs lying on the ground exploded, their flesh and blood flying, splashing into the sky. Chapter 3. Bang. Bang. The Murlocs lying on the ground, like bombs, exploded one after another, and their flesh and blood were flying, reflecting in Nuochigao's eyes. Seeing this scene, Nuochigao's head went blank, as if she had lost Wiguang. She could only stare at the exploded fish people in a daze. Just let the Murloc explode with one word, without any action. This level of strength is no longer what Nuochigao can imagine. The man in front of him seemed like a god, speaking of Tianqian and speaking out the law. Whoever wants to die will die. Nuochigao looked at Ye Chen like a robot and said in a low voice, how did you do it? God. The scene in front of her shocked her too much. The thin men next to him didn't need to act, and a word made them a nightmare, just like a nightmare Murloc. This ability has exceeded their imagination. Except for the gods, Nuochigao couldn't think of any other reasons. Although she knows that there is demon fruit power, such a peculiar existence. But even so, it's impossible to achieve this level, right? God. Hearing this sentence, Ye Chen felt a little funny, but he could understand. After all, Nuochigao hadn't been out of Cocosia Village very much, and he didn't know what the powerhouses in this world were like. If you think I am, so be it. Ye Chen smiled faintly. Are you interested now? Follow me to see the death of the evil dragon. If before, hear this sentence. It is absolutely impossible for Nuohigo to agree. But now, seeing Ye Chen's strength, Nuochi nodded her head. Interested. After years of oppression, Nuochigao could not wait to slaughter the dragon. It's just that I didn't have enough strength before. Not now, but the man next to her will do. If she can see the dragon dying in front of her with her own eyes, or kill the dragon with her own hands, no matter what, she feels it is very worthwhile. Then go. The voice fell off. Ye Chen took Nuochigao to the headquarters of the evil dragon. In fact, with Nuochigao, most of the reasons still want to quickly find the headquarters of the evil dragon. With her leading the way, Ye Chen doesn't need to waste time waiting for the two to leave. The doors of the houses next to the street opened one after another, and the villagers of Cocosia Village came out one after another. Everyone looked at each other, and suddenly they didn't know what to say. After a while, someone broke the silence and said, should we follow the past? Although the little brother is very powerful, the dragon should not be underestimated. Single quote. And Nuochigao followed. I'm worried about what happened to her. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Follow. No matter what, we must protect Nuochigao. Correct. May not be assured of Nuochigao's life safety. Everyone finally made a decision. Go to the headquarters of the evil dragon together. At the same time, the headquarters of the dragon pirates. At this time, in a tall building, in a gorgeously decorated room. The dragon was lying on the sofa, receiving a special guest. This person is wearing a marine costume with a wretched face, a beard similar to a mouse on his face, and even the hat he wears, with mouse ears. The whole person looks like a human mouse. Colonel Mouse. A shameless marine scum, and the evil dragon is in harmony. Because of him, the evil dragon can be unscrupulous in the vicinity, bullying the nearby villages. Because it serves as an umbrella for the evil dragon often pays the mouse colonel. Today happened to be the day when Colonel Mouse came to collect the money. Colonel Mouse opened the box next to him and looked at the golden light inside Bailey, with a smile on his mouth and his face full of greed. Looking at the appearance of Colonel Mouse, the evil dragon's eyes showed a touch of disdain, but on the surface it was still very friendly and said, Colonel, you count it to see if the number is correct. Although he looked down on this guy very much, but for the sake of a stable life in the future, the evil dragon did not show any disdain on the surface. No need to order. We have worked together for so many years, I believe in your personality. Colonel Mouse put the box away and said with satisfaction. The two have worked together for several years, and there has been basically no mistake in these years, so Colonel Mouse believes in the evil dragon very much. And he also believed that the dragon would not offend him because of this. After all, if there is no protection from him, once other marines are allowed to come over, the dragon will not live so nourished. Which is lighter and heavier, he understands how the evil dragon will choose. Thank you, Colonel, for your trust. The evil dragon grinned, then took a wine bottle and faced Colonel Mouse. Then drank it all in one go. After the two had finished drinking, they were ready to chat for a while. Just now, a roar sounded. The earth is shaking and the mountains are shaking. As if there was an earthquake. What happened? You go out and take a look. The evil dragon frowned and ordered to the Murloc next to him. It is good. The Murloc nodded, and then walked out. After a while, the Murloc was full of panic and ran over in a hurry, and said, "Oh no, someone outside is working on us." When I saw it, there were already many brothers lying on the ground. The words came out. Everyone was shocked. The evil dragon had a black face and stood up abruptly. Colonel Mouse was so frightened that he trembled. He really couldn't understand, someone in this neighborhood would dare to offend the dragon. Isn't this looking for death? Although he is Marine, he knows the strength of evil dragons very well and is absolutely terrifying. Almost none of the pirates active in the East China Sea are his opponents. Just now, with a bang, the door burst directly, and a black shadow flew out from it, passed by the dragon, and hit the wall behind. The smoke dispersed. It was a Murloc, but with a bloodline on his face. Those who were already dead couldn't be dying. Seeing the death of the Murloc next to him, the evil dragon's eyes widened and full of anger, and shouted at the outside, "No matter who you are, I will surely let you shatter your body today. Kill me. You don't have the qualifications yet." A flat voice sounded. Ye Chen walked over slowly with Nuao. Looking around the room, he glanced at Colonel Mouse, and finally his eyes fell on the evil dragon. His face was calm. And Nuao, who was standing next to him, looked at the evil dragon angrily, full of hatred, wishing to smash the dragon into pieces at this time. It is because of these guys that they are so miserable. Chapter 4. Very good. The evil dragon gritted his teeth, his eyes spurted with killing intent, and the actual killing intent almost penetrated Ye Chen. If his eyes could kill, Ye Chen would have died thousands of times. Arrogant inferior human beings, I want you to regret living in this world. The evil dragon shouted angrily, stepped on the ground, and the ground was broken, and the cobweb-like cracks moved in all directions. Like a cold arrow shot, the dragon's speed was amazing, its body turned crazily, like a propeller, churning crazily, its mouth opened, and its sharp teeth rattled. This is the unique ability of the evil dragon. Through its crazy rotation and the sharpness of the teeth, it can easily tear a person to the body, or even pierce through the wall at will. The power is extremely terrifying. Coupled with the terrifying speed, most people simply cannot bear it. Nuao hid behind Ye Chen, trembling with fear in his eyes. Everything in the sun is ashes, Ryūjin Jakka. With a faint groan. The terrifying Reiatsu erupted on Ye Chen, like a terrifying ocean wave, layer after layer. Reiatsu, like a vast galaxy, almost materially descends, forming a transparent wall around Ye Chen. The dragon rushed forward and slammed into Reiatsu's wall. There was a bang. The dragon screamed again and again, his teeth were cracked, and his face was full of blood. See this scene. Ye Chen was a little disappointed, and said faintly, "As far as this capacity is concerned, using Shikai on you is a bit of a loss. But forget it, it's just a try anyway. The dragon is too weak." The weak Ye Chen is a bit speechless. He didn't even pass through his Reiatsu wall. How weak can you imagine? You must know that his Reiatsu wall was not intentional, but because of Shikai, Reiatsu climbed up and unintentionally condensed around him. And this Reiatsu wall is only 1/10 of his degree. If it explodes in full, it is estimated that the dragon itself will be directly killed. Instinctively wanted to use the evil dragon to try Ryūjin Jakka's abilities. Who knows that the dragon is so weak? Ye Chen felt a little helpless. What kind of monster is this? Colonel Mouse's eyes widened. It was the first time he saw an evil dragon being defeated, and he didn't even want to see Ye Chen take action. He saw Ye Chen whisper a few words with one hand, and then the imposing dragon hit the wall, almost knocking himself to death. Demon fruit power. The evil dragon was full of frost. The wall was so weird just now, it reminded him of demon fruit power. Only demon fruit power can have this ability. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It's not. Ye Chen said lightly. You should be on the road. Heard this sentence. The evil dragon's face changed drastically, and then punched through the wall, as if to leave. Through the test just now, he already knew that the man in front of him was not something he could deal with. Ye Chen wants him to die, how could he run away? Puff. Ye Chen didn't use Ryūjin Jakka's moves. It was just an ordinary slash. The fierce sword chi carrier swept away and fell on the dragon. The unbelievable high temperature directly vaporized the dragon. Even the evil dragon couldn't even scream, and thousands of heat instantly melted his body. Dead. Dead. Seeing the dragon evaporating directly, Colonel Mouse fell on the ground with a panic face and shivered. He looked at Ye Chen in fear and panicked. You can't kill me, first I'm Marine. If you kill me, you will definitely wanted by Marine. Ye Chen didn't bother to take care of this waste, and swiped it directly, evaporating Colonel Mouse. Then settled the rest at will. Almost everyone in the dragon pirate group was dealt with by Ye Chen one by one. Get the people here. The people from Cocosia Village also followed, and everyone gathered together, and there seemed to be hundreds of people densely packed. Seeing Nuao coming out, the people from Cocosia Village immediately greeted him and said, Nuao, are you okay? Single quote. Hear the words. Nuoji laughed and said, I'm fine, the evil dragon and pirate group has been destroyed, and the evil dragon is also dead. Single quote. With that, Nuo pointed to Ye Chen and said, this is the one who shot. Heard this. The villagers of Cocosia Village cheered suddenly. She burst into tears. Too long. Only after the evil dragon came, they were squeezed and it was better to live than to die. Today, their nightmare, the evil dragon and pirate group eventually fell. Thump. Pause time. The men from Cocosia Village knelt to the ground and said excitedly to Ye Chen, "Great benefactor, thank you for your shot, although we don't know what your name is, or why you shot the dragon, but because of your for this reason, we are reborn. We will never forget such kindness." Single quote. Benefactor, we want to repay you, don't know if you need anything. That's right, we can't forget such kindness, we must thank the benefactor. Seeing this scene, Nuo Chigao also burst into tears, and said to Ye Chen, "Thank you." Seeing the people kneeling on the ground, Ye Chen was a little dazed. He didn't expect these people to fluctuate so much. It does not seem to be the case in the original work. But when I thought about it, I felt normal. After all, the evil dragon had squeezed them for too long. Get me a boat. Thought for a while, Ye Chen didn't have much to need either. As for money, what the evil dragon has is that he waits to take one and it's almost the same. In addition, he is one ship short. As for sailing at sea, there must be a ship. How else can I go to the next sign in location? At the same time, the system's voice suddenly sounded. Ding, a new signing mission is released. Go to the Windmill Village and get rewards immediately after signing in. The time limit is 15 days. Chapter 5. Here comes the task. Ye Chen smiled slightly when he heard the system prompt. Didn't expect the new signing mission to be so fast. He thought he would have to wait for a while. And it's still Windmill Village. This village is terrific, far from being comparable to that of Cocosia Village. Anyone who has seen pirates basically knows this existence. This is the place where the protagonist Luffy was born. It is also the hometown of the revolutionary dragon, and it is also the hometown of the marine hero Garp. Although it is only a village, the characters born are enough to change the pattern of the world, even without boasting. If the Windmill Village is gone, everyone will die. Even celestial dragons is the same. Hearing that Ye Chen only needs a boat, the people in Cocosia Village quickly arranged for him. There are no boats in Cocosia Village. But there are evil dragons. And Colonel Mouse also has it. The marine warship also arrived. In the end, the people in Cocosia Village wanted to get a boat for Ye Chen, but they couldn't get it right. They had to kill the dragon's pirate boat and give it to Ye Chen. At the same time, they also prepared a lot of food and barley for Ye Chen. These things are their own things. Even the treasure knife that someone gave to Ye Chen's family, anyway, the more precious the thing, they all took it all in one mind, wanting to repay Ye Chen. It's just that the people here are too poor, especially after years of squeeze by the evil dragon, there is no value at all. And what they gave, Ye Chen didn't need it either. Finally took some food and barley, and left Cocosia Village by boat. At the same time, the manatee with the dragon moo. Take the manatee, mainly to let the manatee come to pull the boat, and take him to the Windmill Village. The destruction of the dragon pirate group. It spread out soon. It also caused some fluctuations in the East China Sea. Although the reward of the evil dragon is only 20 million. But in places like the East China Sea, the 20 million bounty is definitely a giant, almost equal to the level of New World 4 emperors. Of course, this only refers to the pirates active in the East China Sea, not the pirates who were born here. Pirates of this level were destroyed, shaking the entire East China Sea. At the same time, there was news that the destruction of the dragon pirate group was done by one person, not a pirate group. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. This is even more surprising. The strength of the dragon pirates is a well-known thing in the East China Sea. The strength is extremely terrifying. Even if the Marine wants to destroy the dragon pirates, a certain price must be paid. However, in addition to the death of the evil dragon, the death of Colonel Rat also spread to Marine. Colonel rank is not low in Donghai rank. His death quickly attracted Marine's attention. Although this guy is a scum. But after all, it was Marine, and many people in the East China Sea branch belonged to him. In the end, Marine gave Ye Chen a bounty. 30 million baileys. The bounty far exceeds the bounty of the evil dragon. Almost reached the extreme of the East China Sea. At the same time, because they didn't know Ye Chen's name, they ended up using a mysterious person instead. As for the photos, they didn't intend to take them. It was after Ye Chen left Cocosia Village and stopped somewhere. Others saw the ships of the dragon pirates and immediately knew that Ye Chen was the one who killed the dragon pirates. As soon as you go to sea, you will get a bounty of 30 million baileys. This may not be a big deal in New World. But in the East China Sea, it really shakes the entire East China Sea. It shows that Donghai Marine attaches great importance to Ye Chen. At this time, in the Windmill Village, a marine warship is parked on the dock. On the deck, a figure dressed in a marine coat and a dog head hat is burly, with condensed muscles. Lieutenant General Garp, the news just came that there seems to be an incredible pirate in the East Sea. The initial bounty was 30 million. Only 30 million. Hearing these words, Marine wearing a dog's head hat said puzzledly. This person is impressively Marine hero Garp. Lieutenant General Garp, putting 30 million baileys on the Grand Line or New World may not be a big deal, but it is already outrageous in the East China Sea. It seems that the active pirates in the East China Sea have only offered a reward of more than 20 million. The first time this person was offered a reward of 30 million baileys. General Marine next to Garp explained. The bounty of 30 million is really nothing to put in other places, because in places like New World, more than 100 million pirates are cannon fodder, and 30 million is nothing. But here is the East China Sea, the weakest sea. Pirates who can have a bounty of more than 10 million are extremely awesome. Moreover, the first time this person offered a reward of 30 million. After listening, Garp probably understood the meaning and asked, what did this guy do? The first time he offered a reward, he offered so many rewards. Is this guy killing the village or is it? He was also a little curious. In places like the East China Sea, the bounty was 30 million for the first time, which is enough to show how bad this person is. If it weren't for slaughtering a lot of people, there wouldn't be so many bounties. It seems to have killed a Colonel Marine, in addition to slaughtering a pirate group called the Dragon Pirates. This Dragon Pirate group seems to be very famous in the East China Sea. It belongs to one of the strongest pirate groups. It may be because of the killing of the Marine Colonel and the slaughter of the Dragon Pirate group. Marine in the branch feels this. People whose combat power is too terrifying will give such a high bounty. If that's the case, it's normal. Garp shrugged. According to the information, there was no problem with this bounty. One who slaughtered a pirate group, or the top pirate group in the East China Sea, was worthy of this bounty. Although he didn't do much evil, it was normal to give a bounty after killing Marine after all. At the same time, suddenly there was an exclamation. Lieutenant General Garp, there is a pirate ship approaching. Lieutenant General Garp, that pirate group seems to be the pirate ship of the Dragon and Pirates group. Now it seems to belong to that mysterious man, he is the one who offers a reward of 30 million. Heard this, Garp suddenly turned his head, and suddenly saw that in the distance, a pirate ship was slowly approaching in this direction, being pulled by a manatee. The flag of the pirate ship is that of the Dragon Pirate Group. A newcomer offering a reward of 30 million Baileys is here. And the target seems to be Windmill Village. Chapter 6. Marine Warship. As Garp back, pirates on board. Ye Chen saw the marine warship in the distance, but he was also a little confused. When I came to Windmill Village for the first time, I ran into Garp. You know Garp rarely returns to Windmill Village, especially after Luffy goes to sea. Unexpectedly, he encountered it the first time he came. Plus his current identity. If you run into it, there is definitely going to be a fight. At this time, on the marine warship, Garp sank and said, bring the cannonball. The words came out. With a look on the marine below, he proficiently pushed a car of cannonballs over. Garp reached over, picked up a cannonball, shook it, aimed it in the direction of Ye Chen, and then threw it with a big hand. Boom. The cannonball shot out, like a gun barrel, with a violent whistling sound, heading into the wind. Sure enough, Ye Chen listened to this whistling sound and waved Ryūjin Jakka. A sword aura came out from the air, cutting the cannonball in half in midair. Subsequently, Ye Chen stepped on, using the pirate boat as a springboard, and easily jumped onto the pier. The moment it landed, system reminder sounds. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully signing in. Task reward, summon Gallo. Ye Chen was stunned when he heard the system prompt. This time, the reward turned out to be the summoner. And it was Gallo. No stranger to Gallo Ye Chen. After all, this hero was extremely famous before crossing. At that time, Gallo, etc., were very familiar with many topics. Anyone who has played that game will remember the existence of Gallo. System, can you let Gallo not summon here, and move to another place, come when I let him come over? Ye Chen said silently in his heart. It's a headache to summon Gallo directly now, after all, Garp is here. If you need to summon Gallo, as long as you meditate on the appearance of justice, Gallo will come next to the host. Okay. Ye Chen breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that. If Gallo is summoned here directly, it will be a little troublesome after all. At the same time, Garp saw Ye Chen jump directly onto the dock, frowning and following him. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. At the same time stepping on the moonwalk, moving quickly in the air, towards Ye Chen. Iron Fist. Garp snorted, and the big casserole fist burst out. At that moment, armament Haki instantly covered, the black hair was shiny, and it exuded a steel-like luster. Hello, old man Garp, use armament Haki directly on a little pirate like me, is this really good? Seeing Garp use armament Haki to him, Ye Chen felt a little helpless. He admitted that his bounty is among the top in the East China Sea. But in the grand line, the 30 million Baileys bounty is not a good deal at all. And based on Garp's experience, the pirates with 30 million Baileys are not even cannon fodder. Surroundings, everything is ashes, Ryūjin Jakka. Without too much consideration, Ye Chen directly used Shikai. The terrifying Reiatsu erupted from his body, like a vast sea of stars, forming a Reiatsu wall in front of him. At the same time, Ye Chen burst into endless flames all over his body, and several flame pillars rose behind him, soaring towards the sky, like a flame monarch controlling the flames. Fire-burning city. Garp is not comparable to evil dragons and others. If he is not serious, he may be killed by such an old guy at any time. This old guy is not simple, almost standing at the top of the pirate world's combat power. The blade of Ryūjin Jakka was haunted by flames, and Ye Chen waved Ryūjin Jakka towards Garp. In a flash, the flame burst out, turning into a giant flame palm and suddenly grabbing towards Garp. Fire ability. Ability. Seeing the giant flame palm, Garp's expression condensed, but he did not retreat because of this, but rushed over unstoppably, extremely confident in his own power. What about the flame? He can break it with one punch. Boom. Garp shook his iron fist, followed by a violent whistling sound, and hit the flame giant with a punch. The two collided, and the iron fist passed through the flame giant. At that moment, Garp's face changed slightly, and he moved backwards. Late. Burst. The voice fell. The giant flame palm exploded directly, and a violent explosion sounded, deafening, and the violent force swept through, shaking the ground, and the ground shook the mountains. Under the powerful explosive force, Garp was also directly exploded, his figure flew out, and his body plunged directly into the sea. Lieutenant General Garp was knocked back. How can that be? Is this kid so strong? On the warship, many Marines were confused. Although they were beaten back through Garp, the enemies Garp faced at the time were all famous and powerful players in New World. They are basically big pirates who are famous all over the world, and Ye Chen is just a pirate who has just set out to sea, and he is still in the East China Sea, the weakest sea. The Marines were dumbfounded. This pirate, who offered a reward of 30 million at the beginning, is really that strong. Even Lieutenant Garp was beaten back. Or is it that Lieutenant Garp is releasing water? Boy, you have two tricks. With your strength, you have a place in the Grand Line. What's your name? Garp rushed up quickly and landed on the ground, his face condensed, not as full of jokes as he had before. Through the match just now, Garp recognized Ye Chen's strength. Ye Chen. Weird name. Hearing this, Ye Chen didn't care too much. It's weird. Garp looked serious, his eyes condensed, and said in a deep voice, "What do you want to do when you come to Windmill Village?" What's the purpose? Ye Chen's purpose is straightforward. At first glance, the goal is Windmill Village. This made Garp a little confused and worried. Fengche Village is not very prominent in the East China Sea. Why did Ye Chen come here, and what is his purpose? I'll come and pick up my companion. Do you think I would believe it? Believe it or not, it's up to you. Hear the words. Garp's expression condensed, and he didn't say much. He directly started his hands, his arms covered in color, like cast steel, his whole body was pitch black, and the light flickered. Bang! As soon as he stepped on his feet, the ground under Garp's feet shattered, and the cobweb-like cracks spread to the surroundings, and at the same time he disappeared to the ground in an instant. Next moment, Garp appeared behind Ye Chen and threw a punch, like a cannonball, making a violent whistling sound. Chapter 7. Thunder is too fast to cover your ears. Garp's speed is amazing, like a lightning flashing past. This time he took the shot very seriously, not just a tentative shot like before. As Garp, he was so serious about taking a shot at a pirate who had just gone out to sea, which is enough to show Garp's recognition of Ye Chen. Fast speed. Ye Chen's gaze narrowed. Although he has the combat experience of the old Yamamoto, Garp is not an ordinary person. The speed has reached the limit of human beings, which is not comparable to ordinary people. What's more, Garp also used a shave, which is a move of Marine 6 styles, which can quickly increase the speed in a short time. Fire refusal. The flame rose on the ground, forming a circle to surround Ye Chen, like a flame shield, covering it. Almost at the same time, the rising flames exploded directly, and the terrifying explosion exploded with extremely terrifying power, like a huge bomb exploding, erupting extremely terrifying repulsive force. Boom. A deafening sound rang, the ground shook the mountains, and the ground swayed more and more, as if a major earthquake had occurred, and under Ye Chen's feet, there were countless cracks on the ground, spreading around like a cobweb. Bang. Garp didn't succeed this time either. The violent explosion exploded Garp, his figure flew out tens of meters, and hit the ground directly. Garp paused and slowly stood up from the ground, his expression dignified. Ye Chen's strength exceeded his expectations. Although he was young and thin, his sword skills and abilities were very strange. Moreover, Ye Chen's combat experience is extremely sufficient, which makes Garp not surprised, because when facing Ye Chen, he is kind of like facing the experienced old guy like Whitebeard. Not an ordinary young man. Over the years, Garp has seen countless pirates, and he has encountered many pirates of any age. But Ye Chen alone is the most peculiar. Although he is not very old, he has a maturity that his peers do not have. The rich combat experience makes him feel shocked. Where did this kid pop up? How come you haven't heard of this person before? In just a few short encounters, Ye Chen shocked Garp several times and refreshed his 3 views time and time again. Old man Garp, it's not a good habit to be distracted in battle. With a voice falling, the fiery flames rose up and turned into a tornado, swallowing the surroundings, and headed towards Garp. At the same time, Ye Chen stepped on the ground, like a flash of lightning rushing out, a cold light bloomed, accompanied by a bright light, out of the sky. The extreme flame and sword aura fusion, blooming brilliant brilliance, wonderful and dangerous. Hearing this, Garp laughed. Little guy, although distraction is my fault, if you want to beat me, you are a little bit. Between words, Garp jumped, his feet covered with armed colors, and then kicked dozens of times in the direction of the flame with his feet. Tempest kick, the lion roars. Roar. Along with a roar, a lifelike lion appeared out of thin air, with a condensed figure and dense feathers, roaring like a real lion, and the breath of the whole body burst out, heading towards the flames. Boom. The two collided. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Like a huge mountain colliding, a terrifying explosion erupted, and the violent vibration swept all around, deafening. Dragon head. Ye Chen's eyes condensed, his right hand swept across the blade of Ryūjin Jakka, and the terrifying flame spurted, instantly condensing into a dragon head, wearing two dragon horns on his head, glaring out, lifelike, like a real dragon head. What a peculiar ability. Garp laughed, and said, it's not so much your ability to fire, it's the ability of your sword. You can understand it this way, but this knife is my strength. Garp's eyes are harsh, and Ryūjin Jakka's abilities can be seen at a glance. But Ye Chen doesn't care. What if he is seen? Ryūjin Jakka is his Zanpakuto, which is closely related to him and basically means that there is no difference in his abilities. Boom boom boom. A violent vibration erupted, and the speed of the two was as fast as lightning, almost invisible to the naked eye. The two sides fought extremely fiercely, the flames roared, the shock wave vibrated, and the terrifying battle storm swept all around, directly shattering the entire ground, like a major earthquake, shaking the entire island. Feeling the danger of this battle, whether it is the Marines on the warship or the villagers of Windmill Village, they shuddered and their faces were shocked when they saw this scene. Is this still human? The power that burst out was far beyond their imagination. They even felt that if no one stopped them, would they destroy an island casually? Is this guy really just a pirate who just went out to sea? A Marine swallowed his saliva and looked at the scene in the distance with a shocked expression on his face. The battle in front of them has exceeded their expectations. It is no longer something they can intervene, and even if they feel that they are past, it is estimated that they will be swallowed up by the battle in an instant. They didn't think there was much to Garp. After all, Garp's strength lies in it. As a Marine hero, he stands at the top of the world. But Ye Chen just went to sea, and he offered a reward of only 30 million yuan. Such a newcomer, can he be like this with Marine heroes? It is simply shocking. Boom. The explosion sounded loudly. Ye Chen and Garp separated and landed on the ground. They were panting and sweating. Boy, you have such strength, why not be a Marine, but a pirate? Garp looked at Ye Chen and said in a deep voice. The more you fight with Ye Chen, the more you can appreciate Ye Chen's super strength and terrifying talent. Ye Chen is only 18 or 9 years old. With this kind of combat power, if he were given another 10 years, wouldn't he just ascend to the level of Whitebeard and the others? I don't want to be a running dog of celestial dragons, and I didn't intend to be a pirate. It's just that you offer me a bounty, so I can't help it. Ye Chen flipped through Byakugan. Interestingly, according to what you said, Marine forced you. Roughly the same. If it was you, if someone killed Marine, would you give a bounty? Yes, it's just that the Marine I killed is a scum, and it's the same as the pirates, acting as a pirate's umbrella. Do you think such a Marine should be killed? Heard this. Garp was stunned, he didn't expect Ye Chen to say that. After pondering for a moment, he said in a deep voice, it's time. Although he knew these words could not be said, he still obeyed his heart. Gar, you are indeed a strange thing. If you change to Sengoku, you probably won't say such a thing. Ye Chen smiled slightly and said faintly, the time is almost there, I almost took my companion and left. Single quote. The hero is here, come out my companion, Gallo. Heard this sentence. Garp was a little dazed. Next moment. His face was full of horror. Boom. The violent vibration sounded, as if a violent earthquake had occurred, the ground shook the mountains and rivers shook. Just now, a huge black shadow shot out from the distant sea, and finally came towards this side at an extremely terrifying speed. In a flash, the black shadow crashed down beside Ye Chen. There was a bang. It seemed to fall, almost shattering the entire ground. Gallo's horrible body unfolded, and his indestructible wings haunted Ye Chen, standing behind Ye Chen like a guardian god, and said, sleeping for many years, I finally waited for you, my master. Chapter 8. The hero of Gallo appeared on the stage, a huge figure enveloped the sky, almost covering the entire Windmill Village under his figure. His body is too huge, like a huge fortress, like a walking city, just standing there can make countless people feel scared. This. Garp's eyes widened and looked at Gallo incredulously. It seemed to see something incredible. What the hell is this? Creature or fortress? Or is it a capable person? Gallo's size was far beyond his imagination. He stood in front of Gallo like an ant, insignificant. He couldn't imagine the existence of such a huge creature in this world, even if the giants were in front of him, it seemed that they were not enough to see. Call out. Ye Chen jumped onto Gallo's shoulders, stood above and stared at Garp, and said faintly, Old man Garp, I have no idea about Windmill Village. You don't need to be nervous, it just happens that my companion is here. Also, if you really intend to offer me a reward, since you don't want to give such a low bounty, at least 1/800 million bounty, a mere 30 million bounty does not meet my identity. Goodbye bye. Between words, Gallo spread out huge wings, and the hard wings spread out, like covering the sky and the sun, shrouding everything under the shadows. Boom. Gallo jumped and disappeared into a stream of light. Watching Gallo leave, Garp's face changed, and he didn't know what he was thinking. Ye Chen. This is a weird kid. Looking at the disappeared figure, Garp muttered to himself, it seems that an incredible guy is about to appear in this sea. It's not that Garp didn't think about keeping Ye Chen here. Just gave up later. Because he is not sure whether he can keep Ye Chen. At the same time, there is Gallo. Once they fight, the village of Windmill is hardly spared. If it is not good, the whole village of Windmill may be destroyed directly. So Garp finally decided not to start. Lieutenant General Garp, what shall we do now? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. At this time, several Marines walked out of the warship and looked at Garp nervously. After this incident, they can also see that an incredible figure has appeared in this sea. Facing a strong person like Garp at a young age, they are equally divided. They are placed in other sea areas, and even places where monsters like New World push and push. It is estimated that they are extremely terrible. If this kind of existence is left unchecked, it will inevitably become a major concern for Marine in the future. Contact me Sengoku. Garp is short and horrified, without the hippie smile of the past. When he said this sentence, his tone was extremely calm. Yes. Upon hearing this, a Marine hurriedly took out a phone bug to contact Sengoku. Ding. Quickly. The phone worm turned into Sengoku's appearance, wearing glasses, and his expression was majestic, not angry and majestic. What's the matter, Garp? Sengoku, I just met an incredible guy, this guy may have the qualifications comparable to those of Whitebeard Roger. The words came out. Sengoku at Marine headquarters put down the files in his hand and solemnly said, what did you meet Garp? Comparable to Roger and Whitebeard's qualifications. This is a terrible thing. You must know that these 2 days have run through 2 eras, and they are all outstanding in the era, which makes them feel a headache. If one appears, it is even more serious. A kid named Ye Chen is very strong, even I didn't take him down. Speaking of this, Garp paused for a while, his expression solemn. And when fighting, I can feel it, this guy didn't do his best, and he was hiding something. Of course I didn't try my best, but even so I can't help him, and this guy has a companion called Gallo, who is extremely huge, like an island. Hearing these words, Sengoku was stunned. A pirate who has never heard of a name. Even Garp can't even win it. This is incredible. And he could hear Garp's tone, not the usual hippie smile, but extremely serious. Obviously Garp was serious. Garp, if Admiral is dispatched, is there a chance to take this guy? There is a possibility. I haven't seen him use Haki. Maybe not. If those guys do it, maybe they can get it. But if this guy can armament Haki, it's hard to say. Single quote. I understand, you pass the information to me, and I will give this guy a reward order again. Okay. The two chatted for a while, and then each hung up. At this time, Marine headquarters, Marshal's office. Sengoku put down the things in his hands, his eyes flickered, and said in a low voice, even the old guy Garp is so careful, where did this guy named Ye Chen come out? Single quote. No one like Garp won. It is enough to illustrate the strength of Ye Chen. It's just that Sengoku can't figure it out. Ye Chen is so strong, why is there no news before? What exactly is this for? Sengoku took a deep breath and whispered, I can only wait for the information from Garp to come, and then let the intelligence department guess. Maybe he will know his depth by then. Single quote. After speaking, Sengoku continues his work. Chapter 9. 3 days later, countless news birds have taken news to all parts of the world. On the news this time, what is difficult on the front page is not the great pirates of New World, nor the revolutionary army that has puzzled the world government for a long time. It is a rookie pirate from the East China Sea. Ye Chen. A bounty of 500 million is offered. Gallo. A bounty of 300 million is offered. The pirate group with only 2 people has a total bounty of 800 million Baileys. This kind of bounty is extremely rare in New World, because Ye Chen and the others just went to sea. In addition, they also come from the East China Sea. Known as the weakest sea, the highest bounty of pirates in it is only 20 to 30 million, but Ye Chen himself has nearly 800 million bounty. This kind of thing is very strange and hasn't even happened in decades. A rookie pirate group that has not even been to the Grand Line has a bounty of tens of billions. And the captain Ye Chen seems to be young, just a kid, and didn't do too much. There are even 500 million. People from all over the world who received the news immediately began to discuss it. Marine is not mistaken, right? One just killed a Marine in an ordinary pirate group, and the bounty was 500 million. Marine definitely has a brain problem. This kind of kid can actually be 500 million. When is the bounty so worthless? This is so strange. Lousy killed so many Marines, why is there only a 100 million bounty? Marine definitely has a problem. It may be a mistake. Seeing Ye Chen and Gallo's bounty, countless pirates were stunned. They killed so many people to get a bounty of more than 100 million, not even more than 100 million. And the kid in the news just killed a pirate group and a Marine, and even directly reached the 500 million bounty. The difference is too big. Many pirates are dissatisfied. They killed so many people, and the bounty was not over 100 million. And this kid turned out to be 500 million. Why? This is somewhat unfair. At this time, New World, the Whitebeard pirates. Father, the news this time is a bit strange. Marco said without looking up while holding the news. And Whitebeard next to him was a little curious. Hey, what happened? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. This time the headline is a kid, and it seems that he has not been in the Grand Line yet, and he has been offered a reward of 500 million. He seems to be still in the East China Sea. And he didn't seem to be too much, he just killed a Colonel Marine. The words came out. The pirates of Whitebeard beside him widened their eyes. Captain Marco, are you right? There is a 500 million bounty for killing a Colonel Marine. It's impossible, I killed a Major General directly, and only gave me a 10 million bounty. Single quote. Is something wrong with Marine? There must be something wrong, Colonel Marine is so valuable. Single quote. This is true, but why is this guy offering such a high bounty? Everyone talked a lot. They all don't believe it, and question Ye Chen's bounty. As long as it is still too ridiculous. Killed a colonel and offered a 500 million bounty. How can that be? If the colonel is so valuable, it is estimated that Marine's colonel would have been killed long ago. At this time, Marco said, I read the news. The 500 million bounty was mentioned later. After killing Colonel Marine, this person's bounty was 30 million. After a while, the bounty was raised to 5 billion. Single quote. It's very possible that during this period of time, what did this person do to make the Marines raise the bounty? Single quote. It's just that it didn't say what this guy did. Heard this. The people who had been noisy were quiet. If it is mentioned later, it is normal. But if it was 500 million from the beginning, it would be outrageous. Goo la la la, there should be nothing wrong with this thing Marine. Whitebeard grinned. It may be that this guy did something incredible some time ago that made Marine pay special attention to it. Heard these words. Everyone thinks it makes sense, but some people think this bounty is a bit outrageous. A 500 million bounty for such a young age. It hasn't appeared in many years. At the same time, the country of peace. Inside a magnificent palace, the burly Kaido sat in the first seat with a news item in his hand. He glanced at it roughly, and Ye Chen's passed directly. When he saw Gallo, his eyes flickered and he showed a pleasant smile. It's like a child sees a funny toy. He pointed to Gallo's photo. You go and check where this guy is, I want this guy to join us. The words came out. The 3 plagues next to him were moved and looked over. Yan Calamity Cinder was expressionless, and said faintly, this guy in the photo is indeed not bad, you can join us. Epidemic Quinn grinned and said, I heard that this guy can fly, and his size is extremely huge, like a moving island. If this guy can join, we can enhance our combat effectiveness. Jack the Drow automatically asked and said, Boss, I will help you catch this guy myself. Everyone was a little moved when they saw Gallo's picture. Go Jack, you should be able to kill this kind of kid at will, but you must remember that this guy named Gallo must not die. If I die, I will break your neck myself. Kaido said loudly. Hearing this, Jack the Drow laughed. Don't worry, boss, there will never be any mistakes. Give me a month and I will definitely bring this guy back. Single quote. At the same time. In a certain sea area, above the sky, Gallo was flying in the air, his huge body was like a fortress in the sky, with a feeling of suffocation. On Gallo's back, Ye Chen was sitting on it, looking at the latest newspaper in his hands. The bounty has risen, but it's only 500 million, which is a bit small, and the guys at Sengoku won't give me much. But Gallo is quite a lot, there are 300 million. Master, I have 300 million bounty. That's great. Gallo said happily. During this time, Ye Chen taught him a lot of information about the world, so he also knew the concept of bounty. The higher the bounty, the stronger the strength in the eyes of others outside. At the same time, an icy reminder sounded. Ding, the new sign in task is released. Please go to Apayato, the island of gods, to sign in. You can get rewards immediately after signing in. The time limit is 30 days. Chapter 10. The new sign in task has finally arrived. Ye Chen smiled slightly. After waiting for so many days, he finally waited for the new sign in task. Reward after 2 sign-ins. He is now very eager to get more sign-in tasks and get richer rewards. The first time Cocosia Village got Ryūjin Jakka, which directly transformed him from a weak chicken to a strong one. The second time was Windmill Village, and Gallo was summoned. Gallo is huge, powerful, and has the ability to fly, which just saves him the trouble of finding a boat. At least now, he doesn't need a boat to sail. If there are more people in the future, he will still need a boat. The island of gods Apayato. If I remember correctly, this place should be on the Sky Island, and it is still the place where Ani Road lives. As the early boss, Ye Chen probably remembered the place where Anilu lived, which was Apayato, which was originally part of Gaia Island, but Anilu took possession of it. Ani Road. Ye Chen was very impressed. As a previous boss, he also possessed Thunder Fruit, one of Logia's strongest fruits. The strength is extremely powerful. If it is not for the protagonist Halo, Luffy is really not this guy's opponent. At the same time, Anilu's arrogant personality is impressive and hard to remember. Since it is an empty island, then go to Demon Valley Town first. You can go straight up there. There are many empty islands. And the Sky Island is different in each place. For example, in the original book, Nami was photographed by the bear on an empty island, which is completely different from the empty island where Ani Road is located. The town of Magic Valley is the closest place to Ani Lukong Island. Subsequently, Ye Chen directed Gallo to the direction of Lobe Town. Ready to enter the Grand Line directly. Go to the town of Magic Valley. Call out. Gallo's indestructible wings spread out, blooming with colorful brilliance, as if blessed with magic, even though the speed increased. The rate of eruption is much faster than before. Lobe Town. Smoker is patrolling Lobe Town as usual, with his adjutant. Colonel Smoker, Ye Chen, the pirate offering a reward of 500 million Baileys, should still be in the East China Sea now. When do you think he will come to Lobe Town? He can't be in the East China Sea all his life, right? Dasichi pushed his glasses, looked at Smoker and asked. Only after Ye Chen's news came out. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Dasichi has been thinking about Ye Chen. She was wondering when will Ye Chen go to the Grand Line. After all, Ye Chen can't be in the East China Sea all his life. Since I want to go to the Grand Line, then it must pass through Lobe Town. Otherwise, it won't make it through at all. Maybe these days. Smoker bit his cigar and said calmly, this kind of man cannot condescend to the East China Sea forever. Sooner or later he will go to the Grand Line. It's a matter of time before he leaves the East China Sea. It shouldn't be too late. It may be this time. Hearing this, Dasichi said, he will pass through Lobe Town. I heard that Ye Chen's companion seems to be flying. It's possible to fly directly over Lobe Town and say yes. Dasichi's voice just fell. Pause time. The surrounding area was plunged into a shadow, like a dark cloud covering the sky, covering the surroundings in black shadows. At the same time, everyone raised their heads, their eyes widened. Above the high altitude, a huge monster straddled away, directly over the Lobe Town, and rose rapidly, heading for the distance. Colonel Smoker. Daski's face was startled, and she looked at Smoker and yelled. Hear the words. A glimmer of brilliance appeared in Smoker's eyes, and he said in a deep voice, this should be Gallo, Ye Chen's companions, they have already crossed the Lobe Town and headed to the Grand Line. Go back and inform the Marine headquarters of this news. Yes. Dasichi answered, then looked at the distant back, and muttered, this body is too big, almost like a small island. If you sit down directly, will Lobe Town be destroyed? Quote. Thinking of Gallo's size, she is not very sure now, mainly because it is too big, straddling the air, almost covering the entire Lobe Town. And she looked at it, barely seeing the end with the naked eye, unable to measure how big Gallo was. The departure of Ye Chen and Gallo didn't make Dasichi emotional. As Marine, they got some news from Marine headquarters. The headquarters told them that if they met Ye Chen and Gallo, they could let them go and let them leave, and they could not conflict with Ye Chen and the others. Although this kind of thing is outrageous, it is true news from the headquarters. The reason given by the headquarters is that the strength of Ye Chen and Gallo is unfathomable, and they are not what they can contend, and there is even no one that can be contended in the East China Sea. Marine headquarters. Sengoku put down the phone worm, he just received a message from Ye Chen. After pondering for a moment, he said to Marine outside, let Akainu Admiral come here. Single quote. A few minutes later, Akainu walked in slowly, with a cold face, and sat down on the sofa. Upon seeing this, Sengoku didn't care, and said solemnly, the news I just got, Ye Chen has left the East China Sea and entered the Grand Line. I just don't know where this guy is for the time being. Sakazuki, don't perform tasks during this time. Stay at the headquarters and wait for news from the intelligence department. As soon as there is news from Ye Chen, you will act immediately. Let Akainu start, enough to show that Sengoku attaches great importance to Ye Chen. This means that some big pirates in New World don't have this kind of treatment. I would rather let Akainu not perform the task. Akainu was expressionless and said coldly, understood. As long as I meet this guy, I will definitely catch this guy back. Although with Garp's advice. But Akainu still doesn't pay much attention to Ye Chen, mainly because he feels that he is a rookie pirate, and at such a young age, his strength is not much stronger. At the same time, because he is not very good with Garp's senses, he doesn't care too much. Chapter 11. Put an admiral on standby, just to stare at a rookie pirate. If this matter spreads out, probably aroused many people's surprise. At the same time, I think deeply. What did Ye Chen do? Why did Marine take it so seriously? You must know that letting an admiral stare at a pirate, this kind of treatment is only possible for the top pirates of New World, such as Whitebeard. If they have any amazing actions, admiral can be dispatched. In addition, unless someone beats celestial dragons, or kills celestial dragons. Only then will admiral be dispatched. Otherwise, there is no other way. Ye Chen didn't go to sea for a long time, but he made Marine pay so much attention to it, and even Marine admiral had to be dispatched. Anyone who is not stupid will think about such weird things. What did Ye Chen do? Why did Marine take it so seriously? Only, this matter has not really started yet. Right now. Marine has no news of Ye Chen, so Akainu can only wait. Waiting for news of Ye Chen from the intelligence department. Simultaneously, because of the headlines, Ye Chen became famous. Countless forces are surging in the dark, all looking for Ye Chen's trace. Some are prying into the secrets of Ye Chen getting such a high bounty. Some just want Ye Chen's head. Some want Ye Chen to join their forces. In short, no matter what the purpose, Ye Chen became the sweet pastry of countless forces overnight. Magic Valley Town. Grand Line is a relatively special island. This was once part of Gaia Island. Only after Gaia Island flew to Sky Island hundreds of years ago, after a long period of development, this place finally evolved into Magic Valley Town. This place is very special. It is not an ordinary town, but a place where pirates gather. Pirates can be seen everywhere. If you throw a stone downstairs, 95% of those hit are pirates. Pirates gather here to spend money like dirt and enjoy life. At this time, in a bar, it was extremely crowded, full of pirates. Numerous pirates ate and drank, discussing various things. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. I heard that Ye Chen has left the East China Sea and has come to the Grand Line. Ye Chen. That Ye Chen. Idiot, you don't even know this. There was a lot of rumors a few days ago that the guy who was offered a reward of 500 million Baileys before he even entered the Grand Line. Single quote. Oh, I heard that guy is not too old, only 18 or 9 years old. Regardless of his age, I have seen photos of that guy in some news, and the best record is to get rid of a group called the Dragon Pirates, in which the talent with the highest bounty is more than 20 million. It's only more than 20 million, which is too little, right? Don't say that more than 20 million is the highest in the East China Sea. After all, it is the weakest sea. The pirates in that place are very weak. Tisk tisk, how strong can people come from this kind of place? I hope this Ye Chen will not touch me, or I will take off his head personally. Hee hee, there are more people who want to kill him, and you will be there. I heard that many people are interested in his head. And Bellamy put down his words, as long as whoever gives him the news of Ye Chen, he kills Ye Chen to get the bounty, and he will be divided into half. Single quote. That hyena under Doflamingo's name. It's him. Then it will be fun. I hope Ye Chen can appear in Magic Valley. Everyone talked and discussed each other. The discussion was very loud, and the noisy sound almost covered the entire bar. Bang. Suddenly, the door was opened, and a person hurried in. I saw him panting and said, Ye Chen has appeared. The words came out. The whole bar suddenly became quiet. Many people's expressions changed. They stood up suddenly, and asked harshly, that Ye Chen. Single quote. It's Ye Chen who offers a 500 million bounty. Single quote. He is there now. It's on the dock. Hear this voice. The bar that was crowded with people suddenly dispersed, and everyone took their own weapons and used their strength to feed themselves towards the door. Go in the direction of the dock. Look at its posture. It's like robbing a treasure. I can't wait, for fear that others will be one step ahead of them. Magic Valley Town. Pier. Ye Chen landed from Gallo, and Gallo himself shrank rapidly and quickly became almost the same as Ye Chen's figure. After shrinking, Gallo looked a little honest. Not as frightening and shocking as before. The two came down to supplement some supplies. In general, Ye Chen intends to supplement supplies. Gallo didn't need to eat or drink, he didn't need anything at all. But Ye Chen is still a human being, and he still needs to eat and drink. After many days of flying, he is a little tired of sea kings and plans to have a good meal. Master, these guys are killing us. Should we solve them? Gallo said in a deep voice. Go and solve it. Ye Chen stretched his waist and said faintly, I don't plan to shoot these vegetables. Single quote. Although there are many pirates gathered here, they are basically ordinary pirates, and there are no powerful pirates. The bounty of over 100 million is extremely rare. Hearing Ye Chen's order, Gallo's eyes fell cold and he walked out directly. Almost at the same time, a pirate couldn't help but rushed out, waved the weapon in his hand, and cut off in the direction of Ye Chen. Ye Chen, your uncle, my name, the one who killed you was. Bang. Fortunately, before finishing talking, Gallo punched him in the face with a righteous punch, and the power of terror directly smashed his head. Pause time. The person who had originally planned to shoot stopped subconsciously. His eyes widened, and he looked at Gallo in disbelief. Smash a person's head with a punch. This is how powerful it is to do it. And they just saw Gallo doing this. To put it lightly, it seems to be just a casual blow. Chapter 12. On the pier, a dozen pirates stood there stiffly, their eyes widened and their faces pale. Even a little desperate. Who said that the pirates from the East China Sea can't do it? Who said that the East China Sea is the weakest sea? Is this a pirate from the weakest sea? Blasting a person's head with one punch is as easy as blowing a watermelon with one punch. Understatement. It seemed that there was no effort. The head is so brittle. Gallo curled his lips, his words a little disappointed. Hear this as human talk. Everyone fell into a sluggishness. Is your head still brittle? Ordinary swords may not be able to split the head, and a hard skull is even harder than a stone. What kind of monster is this? He blasted a person's head with one punch. And I think my head is not good enough, it is too fragile. No wonder Marine has offered a reward of 300 million Baileys. No wonder they have offered such a high bounty before coming out of the East China Sea, and they have been so valued by Marine. It turns out that these people are too strong. Pause time. Everyone was a little desperate. It turns out that Marine made no mistake. Did not lie to them. The strength of these two men is worthy of his bounty. Escape, escape. In a flash, a thought flashed through the mind of a dozen or so pirates almost at the same time. Get out of this ghost place quickly. It doesn't matter what the bounty is. Registration matters. Bump. Everyone was almost in sync. One after another scattered their feet and ran away, their faces flushed, and they almost used the power of milking to run away. It seemed as if there was a Shinigami chasing behind. As they were some distance away from Gallo, Gallo just reacted when they ran. These guys have already ran to the back of the street. At the same time, at the junction of the street, a very strange thing happened. Someone left the dock desperately. Someone rushed to the dock desperately. As if there were treasures on the dock. Huh, how did these guys run away? I remember that there was a guy who had a high bounty of 20 million Baileys. Single quote. Follow him, they just run away. If I missed this opportunity and didn't get Ye Chen's head, I would regret it for a lifetime. It was 500 million Bailey's head. How many small towns would it take to get it? That's true. The running of those people attracted the attention of some pirates. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Only, they thought of the value of Ye Chen's head, and greed swallowed their sanity, causing them to head towards the dock like beasts that lost their sanity. For them, the pier is the treasure. It's what Roger calls the big treasure. As long as Ye Chen's head is taken off, they can develop. In addition, Ye Chen's subordinates offered a reward of 300 million Baileys, which is also very valuable. Ha ha ha, I saw Ye Chen. I want his head. Single quote. I am coming for 500 million Baileys. Luckily I run fast. Single quote. No one can make a move. If you just make a move, you will be an enemy of our Blood Wolf pirate group. Go to your Blood Wolf pirate group, you're a fart. Seeing the heads near Chi-Chi, many pirates almost lost their minds. This time the number of pirates rushing over was astonishing. The first batch of pirates who rushed over was in the 30s. There is a steady stream of pirates behind. Just a moment. The number has reached more than 50 people. The number is amazing. Shocking. Seeing the crowd rushing over, Gallo's eyes moved, and a touch of joy appeared in his eyes. Good guys. Those people just ran away. He also regretted being careless. I didn't take good care of those people and gave them a chance to run away. Right now, even more people came. Come to die. Ye Chen on the side looked at this scene and touched his chin. I'm too popular too, there are so many pirates who want to kill me. Seeing so many pirates, he didn't expect it. Although he knew that he was coming to Demon Valley Town. There must be a lot of pirates who have done something to him. But I didn't expect that there were so many. In just a few minutes, hundreds of people had gathered on the dock. The number of people has continued to increase. The popularity is far beyond Ye Chen's expectations. At first he thought it would be nice to have 20 or so people killed him. I didn't expect it to be super doubled directly. Ye Chen took a deep breath. I thought there were smart people, it seems I overestimated them. He thought that Marine offered such a high bounty, and there should be smart people who could see Marine's value. Who knows that there seem to be few smart people. In fact, it is normal to have so many people. In addition to offering a bounty of 500 million yuan, countless people's interest is intrigued. At the same time, it is also because Ye Chen did not have a more depressing record before. After destroying the evil dragon pirate group, it might be amazing to put it in the East China Sea. But, if it is placed on the Grand Line, this is nothing. Moreover, the East China Sea was originally the weakest sea, the sea area that countless people ridiculed. When these people saw Ye Chen's high bounty, with age and record, I immediately felt that Ye Chen might not be that strong. Just because of doing something, it touched the interests of Marine or the interests of the world government. Only then will Marine give such a high bounty. See Ye Chen getting closer and closer. The people in front of them looked excited, getting more and more excited, and almost saw 500 million Baileys beckoning at them. That is heaven. However, soon, the disillusionment was disillusioned. They fell from heaven to hell. Seeing so many people. Gallo just let go of his hands and feet and started. Justice punch. Gallo didn't use any special abilities. Use only the simplest and most primitive attack method. Bang. The indestructible fist kept slamming. Every shot. It was accompanied by the bursting of one head after another. Gallo's whole body was created with a special magic stone. He was indestructible and belonged to the hardest stone. Diamonds may not be as hard as him. At the same time, because of the perennial bath magic, Gallo himself has some magic, power magic, flying magic, or shrinking magic. These are all Gallo's own. With these magic blessings, Gallo is like a magic war machine, extremely terrifying. Especially the power magic persisted, coupled with Gallo's indestructible fist, the burst of power was enough to destroy a mountain. Although the human skull is hard. But compared to Gallo's fist, it was far inferior. Chapter 13. Damn, why is this guy so powerful? Asshole, what kind of body is this? The knife broke on his body. Who said these two guys were vulnerable? Ah. Gallo let go of his hands and feet and worked hard, like a wolf entering a flock. Wherever he went, there was a halo of life after life. The power of terror is coupled with an indestructible body. This group of pirates faced Gallo. Like immature babies, they could only watch Gallo massacre. Whether they use a gun or a sword. Faced with Gallo, nothing happened. Gallo was crushing against this group of people like an invincible victory. Boom. Deafening sounds rang around, the ground shattered, smoke was everywhere, and many pirates were frightened and fled towards the rear in a panic. If just like those people, they used the fastest speed in their life, just like escaping from hell, running forward desperately. This is not heaven. This is hell. It was not the lamb that they could slaughter in their fantasy, but a demon with teeth and claws that could crush them at will. 10 minutes later, the wharf was bloody and bloody. The huge field was crowded with corpses. Looking at it at a glance, it is densely packed. Almost all are corpses, like purgatory in the world, looking scared. Ye Chen stood at the farthest point of the dock, watching everything calmly. In front of him, Gallo was covered in blood, his body was burly, his face was simple, his indestructible body was rendered blood-colored by the blood. It looks extremely scary, as if walking out of a sea of blood. The pirates were afraid of being killed. There is no need for Ye Chen to shoot, and Gallo pushes sideways by himself. At the same time, it was extremely violent, with terrifying power hitting his head, exploding like a watermelon, and the terrifying scene reflected in everyone's eyes. Seeing this scene, they were all frightened silly. They left here one after another, not daring to approach. Because they know if they continue to stay, they will become headless corpses just like the corpses on the ground. This should be no one, right? Ye Chen stretched his waist and yawned. After seeing such a bloody scene, he was a little bored. There could be so many people coming at him. Ye Chen really didn't expect it. But all this does not matter. Come on, if you want to die, then he will fulfill them. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Now it looks like it is almost over. Ye Chen greeted Gallo and said, "Let's go in and buy something." Single quote. "Okay, master," Gallo responded honestly. Subsequently, the two walked towards the town. Maybe it was because Gallo looked a little scary. The owner of the store was so frightened that Ye Chen gave everything for nothing and didn't charge any money. Probably strolled around. After replenishing the supplies, Ye Chen and Gallo are preparing to leave Demon Valley Town. Bang. Just now, on the street, a figure kept jumping around at an extremely terrifying speed. "Gario, get rid of that fly." Okay. Gallo turned around, a glimmer of brilliance appeared in his figure, and then disappeared in place. Next moment, bang. Gallo fell from the sky, his huge body fell on the ground, and the ground shook and the mountains shook like a big earthquake. The whole town shook violently. At the same time, as the smoke dissipated, Gallo slowly stood up, following Ye Chen's footsteps. And the original pothole, a head rolled over like one and rolled in front of everyone. See this head. Everyone was shocked. This is not Bellamy. It's him, the big pirate who offers a bounty of more than 40 million. Such pirates are lost in seconds. Gallo is too strong. It's not a level of existence at all. No wonder Marine gives them a bounty of 300 million. You said that a crew member is so strong, so how strong is Ye Chen as the captain? Surely he should be stronger than Gallo. After all, he is the existence of a reward of 500 million. That's true. With their strength, one day they should be able to stir the situation in New World. You are not talking nonsense. That is inevitable. I think so. I always feel that it won't take long for the Black Crow pirates to spread throughout the world. Impossible. They are only 2 people in the pirate group. Everyone talked a lot, and after seeing Bellamy's second, there was not much fluctuation. Just surprised for a little while. Although Bellamy has a great reputation here. But compared with Gallo, it was far different. According to approximate statistics, the dead bodies on the dock start at least 200. This is still a lot of corpses. Incomplete statistics, the real number is estimated to be more. As for the Black Crow pirates, it is Ye Chen's pirates. During the battle, Ye Chen passed this name out. At the dock, Gallo flew into the air and his body grew rapidly. In an instant, it became dozens of times bigger. At the same time, Ye Chen jumped onto Gallo's back with something, and said faintly, Gallo flew into the air. Okay, hear this. Gallo nodded, and then a faint light burst out of his body, condensing into a magic circle in the air. Then, the figure is like a rainbow light, shooting towards the air. Fast as lightning, out of the sky in an instant. Chapter 14. News of the tragic situation of Demon Valley Town soon spread. Spread all over the world. Perhaps because of the headlines a few days ago, many people are paying attention to the traces of Ye Chen and others. After the news of Demon Valley Town came out, everyone was a little surprised. They didn't expect that Ye Chen and the others had such terrifying strength. They almost slaughtered Demon Valley Town. This was the situation where Ye Chen didn't make a move, and Gallo almost slaughtered the Demon Valley Town alone intact. Black Crow pirates. It seems not as simple as imagined. The bounty offered by Marine to them may not be based on the horrible things they have done, but it may be because of their strength. There is a possibility. Single quote. If a crew member is so strong, Ye Chen, as the captain, is probably not an ordinary person. The sea is not calm anymore. Another pirate group has appeared. Fortunately, they have fewer people now. If there are more people, they should be able to compete in New World. I haven't seen the news of Ye Chen's move yet. I really hope someone will let Ye Chen take a shot to test his abilities. Is it really strong? There are many people who have this idea. Unfortunately, their whereabouts are uncertain. Unlike other pirate groups, they do not sail on the sea, but walk in the sky. It is difficult to find them. Wait, they will come to New World sooner or later. Many forces received the news and reacted differently. But most of them were surprised. Regarding the strength of Gallo, it is Ye Chen's own strength. They want to know that this person who hasn't been out to sea for long. How powerful is it? Can Marine offer a reward of 500 million Baileys? Compared to other forces, Marine is very troubled. They just got news from Ye Chen. When I was about to send a Kainu out. But he learned that he left Magic Valley Town that day. This made Sengoku almost smash the table. Ye Chen's whereabouts are too weird. Make them Marine extremely passive. The outside world is disturbed one after another, and the undercurrent is surging. It seemed calm, but it was choppy. At this time, Ye Chen is on his way to the Island of God. With Galio's ability to fly, he didn't need to rely on any tools and came to the Sky Island unobstructed. Passed through the gate of heaven. Go straight inside. Under a wave of inquiries. Get the place where Analu lives. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The Island of Gods, Apayado. With the gradual deepening, Ye Chen and Gallo both felt their eyes fixed on them. Gario, do you feel the sight of that place? Master, I feel that we are not far away. That's where we are going. Understand. Familiar with the original, Ye Chen knows that the line of sight is the ability of Analu. Heart Gang. Observation Haki combines the unique radio waves of Thunder Fruit, allowing Analu to perceive the entire Sky Island and hear the voices of people in the sky. Because of this, if someone dared to speak ill of Analu, then he will be punished by God. At this time, Apayado, the Island of Gods. In a magnificent palace. Analu was naked, took a bite of the apple in his hand, looked cold, and said to the person below, 4 priests. Single quote. My Lord God. The words fall. The 4 priests who were on standby knelt down one after another, waiting for Analu's order. For them, Analu is a god. And they are the people who serve the gods. There is endless respect for Analu in the eyes of the 4 people. 2 outsiders broke into our territory. Go and kill them and bring their heads back. Yes, Lord God. The 4 priests looked calm and said respectfully. Then all got up and left the palace and headed outside. They have performed this kind of task many times. Basically, they came back with big victories, so they have no other ideas. For them, solving outsiders is just an ordinary thing. Seeing the island in front of me gradually became clear. Ye Chen knew that the Island of God was coming. Just now. 4 figures stopped in front of them. Stop, intruder. The 4 figures have their own faces, both fat and thin, with white wings on their backs. The 4 priests under Analu. Gario, don't stop. These guys, leave it to me, no need to waste time. Heard this. Gallo, who had planned to eliminate the 4 priests, stopped immediately. Let go of your hands and feet and fly forward. Seeing that Gallo didn't stop, he speeded up instead. The faces of the 4 priests were a little dark, and they felt insulted. Huh, I didn't stop waiting for me, arrogant. Resolved them. The 4 priests gave a low cry, using their abilities in various ways, and headed towards Gallo. Stegosaurus. At the same time, there was a sharp edge in Ye Chen's eyes, the Ryūjin Jakka in his hand was unsheathed, and a cold light bloomed in the air. The sword came out like a dragon, and the majestic sword gas turned into a dragon. With a hideous face, teeth and claws, the fur is clearly visible, lifelike, like a real dragon coming to the world. Roar. The Stegosaurus roared again, and rushed away with sharp sword aura. Damn it. Stop. Unbeatable. Seeing the terrifying Stegosaurus, the 4 priests' complexion changed drastically, and they paused quickly and hid away. It seems to want to avoid Stegosaurus. However, the Stegosaurus bite, like a spirituality, adjusted its body, and instantly swallowed the 4 of them. Boom. The deafening sound was cut, and the sword aura sputtered in all directions. The 4 priests were pierced by countless sword auras, and they were full of holes. Bang. The 4 priests were instantly killed, the vitality in the body was wiped out, and they collapsed, falling into the White Sea, and being swallowed by the White Sea. At the same time, in the palace, Analu's face turned dark, and he suddenly slashed and whispered, unforgivable fellow. Single quote. Chapter 15. The 4 priests were killed instantly. There is not even room for struggle. He was instantly beheaded by Ye Chen. Without the obstacles of the 4 priests, Gallo, unimpeded, like a rainbow of light, came to the island in a moment. Apayado, the Island of Gods. The place where Analu lives. After Gallo landed, Ye Chen jumped from Gallo's body. The moment the footsteps fell. Ding, congratulations to host for completing the registration. Task reward, perfect Conqueror's Haki. The cold voice fell. There was a glimmer of brilliance in Ye Chen's eyes. In a flash, all the information about Conqueror's Haki flooded into my mind. Conqueror's Haki. Armed color. There are also seeing and hearing colors. Conqueror's Haki took control instantly, and it was perfect. Ye Chen's eyes narrowed. A ray of breath bloomed from his body. In a moment, the breath rose by leaps and bounds, like a violent wind and huge waves, sweeping around. Invisible fluctuations spread out, almost covering the entire empty island, enclosing all around. At that moment, everyone on Sky Island felt a supreme breath. Everyone's eyes widened and their faces were full of fear. Then, thump, most of the people on Sky Island fell one after another, their eyelids turned white and foaming at the mouth. Only a small number of people can barely resist. But even so, they are also sweating profusely, and they seem to be unable to hold on. Who is it, Analu? The few remaining people looked at Apayado faintly in the distance, with a shocked expression. This breath is really terrifying. Just like Kamui, like a god descending to the world. Getting them to stand normally has become difficult. After a while, the horror dissipated, and the rest of the people were relaxed, kneeling on the ground one after another, with cold sweat on their backs and exhaustion on their faces. At the same time, in the Island of Gods. ZZ. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The harsh sound rang out, as if thousands of birds were contending, cutting the sky. Along with the sound, a thunder light fell from the sky, like a divine punishment, smashing towards the place where Ye Chen was. Seeing this scene, Ye Chen calmly swung his knife towards the sky. Click. The sword is full of vitality, and the sharp edge is revealed. The vast thunder and lightning was cut straight away, split into two halves and fell on both sides in the distance. Slap. At this moment, Analu clapped his hands and slowly walked out from a distance with cold eyes. He looked at Ye Chen and said, "Invaders, your strength is very good. My god recognizes you. It's just that you killed my priest. Even if the god recognizes you, you will have to pay the price. The majesty of God cannot be profaned." Hearing these words, Ye Chen suddenly felt amused. This Analu was a bit too arrogant, and also a bit too second. Just ruled an area of the Sky Island, dare to call it a god. Although Thunder Fruit is known as one of the strongest Logia, it does not mean that it will be invincible. Although Luffy defeated Analu in the original book, a large part of it was due to the protagonist's halo. But even without the protagonist's halo, Analu is placed in New World, and there are many people who can defeat him. A curve appeared in the corner of Ye Chen's mouth, and he said playfully, "Since I have blasphemed the majesty of the gods, then as a god, how do you deal with me? Of course I am going to kill you." Analu's face turned dark, his feet glowed with blue light, the arc flickered, and his figure disappeared instantly. Next moment, Analu appeared next to Ye Chen, full of thunder, condescending, and said high above, "It is also your honor to die in your own hands. 50 million volts, discharge." The sky full of thunder light bloomed from Analu's hand, the arc flickered, and the blue and white light covered the surroundings almost instantly, as if falling into the thunder sea. Looking at it, it was full of flickering thunder light. Fire refusal. A flat voice sounded. The blue and white thunder light appeared a touch of different color. Almost for a moment, the heterochromia rose by leaps and bounds, suddenly soaring, turning into a circle to swallow the nearby thunder light. "What a waste of thunder fruit for you," Ye Chen said faintly. The Ryūjin Jakka in his hand was instantly covered by armament Haki, turning into a black knife, dark black and shiny with a strange light. Call out. Ye Chen was holding Ryūjin Jakka in his hand, and the flames rose, slashing towards Ani Road. "Ha ha ha. You are indeed capable of blocking my attacks, but you are invincible, immortal, and any attack will have no effect on me." Analu laughed. Facing Ye Chen's attack, he didn't care at all, and laughed arrogantly. With the elementalization unique to Logia Devil Fruit, he can ignore any attacks. Of course, except for Seastone and Armament Haki. There is also Sea Water. Immortal, invincible. Sure enough, it was an arrogant frog at the bottom of the well. Ani Road, who has never left the Sky Island, has no idea that Logia Devil Fruit has restraint, and elementalization is not invincible. Because I didn't know, I saw Ye Chen cut over. Analu didn't evade in the slightest, but stood there boldly, trying to catch Ye Chen's attack abruptly. Maybe I want to tell Ye Chen by this. Your attack is useless to me. There is a difference between people and people. Stupid guy. Ye Chen whispered in his heart. Ryūjin Jakka, who was showering armament Haki, slashed across, the black and shiny blade, shining with evil light. When Ryūjin Jakka was in front of him, Analu, who was self-confident, shook his heart, an unknown premonition surged into his heart, and a feeling of death poured into his heart. Not good. Analu's face changed drastically, his whole body flickered, and he wanted to leave Ye Chen's attack. However, this time is already slow. The dark light of the knife bloomed, and the sharpness that could penetrate everything in a flash burst out. Puff. Ryūjin Jakka penetrated directly through the heart of Ani Road. Thump. Analu was pale, half kneeling on the ground, and weakly asked, "Why can you attack the original god?" He couldn't believe it. Can he be hurt by mortal? Ye Chen put away Ryūjin Jakka and said playfully, "Because I am a godslayer, no one else can kill you, but I have a way." Hearing these words, Analu glanced. Before he had time to speak, his eyes collapsed, and the whole person fell to the ground. Ye Chen didn't tell him the truth until he died. It also made Analu think that he might really have encountered a godslayer. Chapter 16. The Kid from Form 2. Ye Chen shook his head and put away Ryūjin Jakka. With his current strength, it is easy to kill Analu. With the perfect armament Haki, Analu's trickiest ability is of no use in front of him. At the same time, because Analu is a frog at the bottom of the well, he didn't go out to the outside world, and I didn't know that Logia Devil Fruit had a nemesis. Although the Sky Island has traffic jams and is not as prosperous as below, it is not that no one knows the existence of Haki in the Sky Island. Because empty islands exist in many places, such as New World legends have many empty islands, and even some empty islands are known as the islands of gods like Ani Road. It is rumored that the islands may not be as powerful as the four emperors. But the gap between the two is not that big. Even if the four emperors have to deal with those guys, it is not a simple matter. Even if he swallowed it, he would suffer heavy casualties. Simultaneously. Because that force has been very low-key and hasn't continued it often, so many people have forgotten it. Analu Ye Chen thought about subduing, but thought that this guy is rebellious, plus Ye Chen is too lazy to train this guy, so I don't bother to subdue it, it's better to kill it directly. So as not to leave a bomb in the team. Come on, Gallo, let's go back down below. The sign in reward was obtained, and Analu was killed. Sky Island has nothing Ye Chen can commemorate. Greeted Gallo to leave. Waiting for the next mission. After a taste of a nod, Ye Chen is more and more looking forward to the reward for the sign in task. After all, the rewards given every time are extremely rich. Ryūjin Jakka, Gallo, Conqueror's Haki, no matter which one is the best reward. And this time with Conqueror's Haki, Ye Chen's strength has gone to the next level. When he meets 3 Admiral guys, there is no way to deal with it. Water Moon Island. Located on a prosperous island on the Grand Line, because of its geographical location, ships often come here to replenish supplies, including marine, bounty hunters, and pirates. However, because of the good reserves and strong soldiers and horses, they are well known in the first half of the Grand Line. So there are not many pirates making trouble here. But it's not without it. It's just that these troubled pirates are basically dead. A few years ago, there was a pirate group that offered a reward of more than 200 million yuan to make trouble here, but the latter group was destroyed. After this incident, the pirates who came here were also much better behaved. At the dock, a marine warship approached slowly and finally stopped on the dock. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. On the deck, there are 2 figures standing, both of whom are women. One has a delicate face and a tall stature, wearing a marine justice coat. The other is a tall and thin old woman with gray hair and wrinkles on her face. She wears 2 bracelets on her right hand and green earrings on her ears. Her marine shawl is purple. The 2 are impressively Marine Admiral Substitute Tautu Gion and Marine Lieutenant General Crane of Marine Wisdom Civilization. The 2 are sisters. Tautu Gion looked around and saw the pirate ship parked on the pier around her, frowning. Blood Wolf pirates, Jack pirates, these guys are not good things, they have done a slaughter before. The inhabitants of the island. These guys can't let it go. The Blood Wolf pirates and Jack pirates are well known in the Grand Line because they act unscrupulously and do many evil deeds. As long as they go to a place, they will slaughter wildly and take away the treasures there. Because of these things, the bounty of the 2 pirate groups is very high, and the captains both start at 200 million. No bounty is small. In the first half of the Grand Line, the 200 million pirates who started are all famous big pirates, and they can be regarded as standing on top of the first half of the pirates. None of these people are powerful people, at least among the pirates in the first half, they are considered the top. The crane on the side looked at the flags of the surrounding pirate group, and said calmly, "Let's do it, it's their misfortune to meet us." The strength of the 2 pirates is actually very good, but if they meet Tautu Gion and Suru, the strength of the 2 is not enough. Needless to say, the cranes used to be the pillars of marine may not be as strong as Sengoku Garp, but they are still not to be underestimated. Although they are now too old, their strength is far beyond the pirates. As a substitute for Admiral, Tautu Gion naturally lacks in strength. None of those who can become Admiral substitutes are top players and extremely powerful players who are considered by Marine to possess the strength of Admiral. If there is no internal recognition of Admiral's strength, it is impossible to become a substitute. Same. With the strength of Tautu Gion, these guys are far from opponents. In general, it is not one level. With the approval of the crane, Tautu Gion immediately gave orders to Marine on the warship. Marines who can be on the 2 warships are naturally elites, not ordinary goods. Upon receiving the order, the Marine on the warship immediately moved into action. Crane and Tautu also went down one after another. In addition to the 2 pirate groups, Blood Wolf and Jack, there are several other pirate groups on the pier. When they saw Marine, they immediately ordered the crew to leave the pier. Most pirates are still afraid of Marine. As for Jack and the Blood Wolf pirate group, they were indifferent, as if they hadn't seen them, or were not afraid at all. The Marines quickly rushed to the pirate ship. Looking at the deserted pirate ship, the Marines were immediately stunned. "I have no one here. I'm no one here either." Single quote. They were dumbfounded. Although the pirates would go down to supply supplies, they would basically leave some people on the pirate ship to guard. And now they didn't even find anyone. This is too strange. Are you afraid of being robbed of the contents? Neither pirate ship found anyone. Several Marines came over depressed and said, "Lieutenant General Tautu, Lieutenant General Crane, the 2 pirate regiments can't find anyone, there is no one." No one. Heard these words, Tautu and Crane were a little stunned. This is impossible. Even if you want to go down to supply, there should be some people left behind. Crane pondered for a moment. Go and check if something has happened. Single quote. Generally speaking, The pirate group will leave some people on the pirate ship to guard. Unless there is something else, there will be no one on the pirate ship. 5 minutes later, a marine came hurriedly and said, Lieutenant General, I just got the news that members of the Black Crow pirates have appeared here, and they have also clashed with the Blood Wolf and Jack pirates. Their people are all gone. Single quote. Tautu Gion's pupils shrank, and said in a deep voice, is this news certain? Okay, this news has spread throughout the town. Single quote. Ye Chen said. Gion, let's go and see what happened. Single quote. The Black Crow pirates. They are no strangers, because Marine attaches great importance to them, especially the captain Ye Chen. Chapter 17. The members of the Black Crow pirates are in the square. Everyone is in the past. The captain has already spoken, take off Ye Chen's head at any cost. Ha ha ha, kill their brother. Single quote. On the street leading from the pier to the central square. A group of pirates with weapons in their hands, charged with murderous intent, headed towards the end of the street. Everyone wears different clothes, ages, and even belongs to different forces, but these pirates have one thing in common, and that is to go to the central square to support. In addition to this street, there are also these people in Shuiyu Town. Looking at these pirates, the guards of Shuiyu Town looked ugly. For so many years, few pirates dare to be presumptuous in Shuiyu Town. It's just that these guards quickly received the order from above, so that they could not move easily. At this time, Central Square, an entrance. 2 burly pirates stood there with their weapons in their hands, their eyes were cold, and they stared at the figure in front of them hideously. Behind the two, stood many pirates, with expressions similar to those of the two, with hideous faces and murderous intent. If the eyes can kill, the figure in front has already died thousands of times. These two are the captains of the Blood Wolf and Jack pirates. Both are pirates with a bounty of over 200 million. At this time, the entire Central Square has been cleared and has become a battlefield for both sides. The others hid in the surrounding buildings one after another, looking at the 2 people below through the windows. Even the guards of Shuiyu Town hid. At this time. In one room, a guard said dissatisfied, Captain, why don't we stop them? Single quote. He really couldn't understand that the captain, who had always been strong in the past, flinched in the face of these people. Necessary. Although there are a lot of pirates, there are also a lot of guards. And it's not that they haven't dealt with pirates like this. Heard this. The captain of the national character face sank, and he scolded immediately. What do you know? None of the following group of people is simple, no matter which one we have to deal with, we need to pay a certain price. Now that the 2 sides are fighting, if we intervene in it, it is very likely that we will become the opponent's target. Once we become the opponent's target, facing these people, even if we can't get out of the whole body, we won't even leave the pieces that might be killed. Now that the 2 sides are going to war, is it okay to let them bite the dog? When everything is over, we will come out again. The Gujilian captain gave the guard a fierce look. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. What an idiot. Isn't it a fight for death now? None of the people below are simple. Once they intervene in, they may be swallowed at any time. Captain, your strategy is high. When they are finished, we are clearing up the mess. It is indeed the best way. It's just that the strengths of the 2 sides are not equal. The Black Crow pirate group has only 2 people, and there are hundreds of people on the opposite side. Does this battle really take a long time? The difference in the number of people is so great, I feel that the battle is over soon. Single quote. I feel this way too. Although they think the captain's plan is good, if the people below are both injured and they come out to take over the endgame, it will be a big profit. But the strength of the 2 sides is not equal. Is there really a situation where both lose and hurt? Humph. The Gujilian captain snorted coldly, looked through the 2 figures standing in the middle of the window, and said in a deep voice, why not? The people of the Black Crow pirates are not easy, you should know Gallo, not long ago. In Demon Valley Town, one person killed hundreds of pirates, killing the pirates in Demon Valley Town to the horror. And Ye Chen, as the captain of the Black Crow pirates, has a bounty of 500 million, which is more than Gallo. Do you think this kind of person is an ordinary person? It must be that his strength has been recognized by Marine, and he thinks it is a threat, so he offered such a high bounty. Intuition tells me that this thin young man is extremely powerful, and may even slaughter the group of people below. The words came out. Everyone's eyes widened and exclaimed, this is impossible, Captain. Single quote. The 2 wanted to slaughter the following group of people. There are hundreds of people, and there are at least 500 or 600 people. This kind of thing is so possible. Why is it impossible? The Guozi said with a deep voice. This kind of monsters exist in this world, and there are a lot of these kinds of monsters in New World. It's easy to slaughter hundreds of people by one person. Single quote. Captain, you also said that they are the monsters of New World. Is it possible that you think Ye Chen also has this ability? Of course. Gujimian said very firmly, his eyes fixed on Ye Chen below. Just now, Ye Chen raised his head suddenly and smiled at the Guozi face. At that moment, the captain of the national character face was hairy, as if threatened, he turned around abruptly, panting loudly, with cold sweat on his face. What kind of monster is this? The captain of Gujilian whispered, his eyes full of fear. It was just a look, and unexpectedly he had a feeling of dying, as if he would die in the next moment if he didn't turn around. This fatal feeling made him feel very strange. At the same time, below, Ye Chen retracted his gaze, looked at the entrance of the street in front of him, looked at the Blood Wolf and Jack, and said faintly, "Are you all called? Let's start when we are all. Anyway, it's all dead." The words came out. The crowd was in an uproar. This Ye Chen is too arrogant. Could it be that he really felt that he could deal with so many people? No matter how strong it is impossible to do it. Jack is a middle-aged man with a knife mark on his face. At this time, his face turned black, almost black as coal. Ye Chen, don't be too arrogant. The Blood Wolf's face wasn't ugly either. At this time, there were also slivers of hair on his face changed to look like a wolf, and the same was true for his body. In a moment, turned into a red-haired werewolf. I will personally take off your head as a hip flask, and avenge my brother. Originally, Ye Chen and Gallo planned to come here to supply supplies, and they happened to meet the younger brother of Blood Wolf. His brother's bounty is not low, more than 100 million bounty pirates. After seeing Ye Chen, the younger brother of Blood Wolf might think that Ye Chen's head is valuable and that he could kill Ye Chen, so he acted on Ye Chen. Then he was killed. After the Blood Wolf brother died, people from the Blood Wolf pirate group soon sent people over, and at the same time, people from the Jack pirate group also participated. Then these people were also killed. There were a lot of people who died in the end, which attracted the attention of Blood Wolf and Jack. In order to deal with Ye Chen, the two parties joined forces and called together the companions scattered in Shuiyu town. That's why the entire central square became a war, and the streets leading to the central square had a steady stream of pirates coming over. Chapter 18. Seeing them call people, Ye Chen didn't bother to stop it either. These guys are just trash fish. Although there are a lot of people, it is of no use. No matter how many people there are, what is the use if the strength is not enough? In the face of normal people, there may be some usefulness. In the face of Ye Chen's level of power, the number of people is not very important. Simultaneously, Ye Chen just planned to try his Conqueror's Haki. The loss of time at any time. The street junctions in the central square were crowded with pirates from both sides. Surrounded by water. Surround Ye Chen and Gallo together, and they can walk out without a gap. There are a total of 5 intersections in the central square. In these 5 entrances, there are a lot of people, each entrance is at least 100, and there are even hundreds of people. In total, there are about 1,000 people. This is also the total number of pirate groups on both sides. Each pirate group has 500 or 600 people. At this time, a pirate came over. "Boss Blood Wolf, we are all here." Single quote. On the other side, the Jack pirates also said at the same time, "Boss Jack, we are here too." Hear this. The Blood Wolf looked cold and saw Jack. "According to our previous agreement, as long as these 2 people are killed, we will split their bounty equally." Single quote. It is good. This is an agreement between the two. As long as Ye Chen and Gallo are killed, the bounty will be split equally between them. Although it was ridiculous that the pirate took the pirate's head to exchange the bounty with Marine. However, such a thing has not never happened. After all, they can find an ordinary person to exchange it, or find some bounty hunters to exchange it. Mainly give sufficient benefits. Even Marine can help the pirates. Colonel Mouse in the East China Sea is the best example. So as long as they kill Ye Chen and Gallo, they don't worry about redeeming bounty money at all. Little ones, do everything for me and kill these 2 guys for me. As long as you can get the heads of these 2 guys, reward 100 million Baileys. Single quote. Do it. As the 2 yelled, the huge square boiled. Numerous pirates showed fierce looks and hideous faces. "Ha ha ha, that kid's head is mine. Kill them. That kid looks the weakest, kill him first. Yes, kill that kid first, and that Gallo is the last to do it." There is a command from the boss. Coupled with the temptation of 100 million Baileys. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. All the pirates let go of their hands and feet. The pirates of nearly 1,000 people entered like locusts and swept towards Ye Chen. "How about 1,000 people? I'm going." Ye Chen smiled softly. His eyes narrowed. At that moment, a breath radiated from Ye Chen's body, and then the breath climbed steadily, becoming like a vast galaxy, moving in all directions. ZZ. Colorless fluctuations spread, like a huge protective shield covering the entire Shuiyu town, covering the whole together. One Setsuna room. Invisible fluctuations and terrifying spiritual shock waves swept across the island. At that moment, time seems to have stagnated, falling into a moment of tranquility. Thump. Next moment, the pirates who had been rushing forward fell down like bone Numi cards. One by one, he fell on the ground, his eyes pale and foaming at the mouth. Except Jack and Blood Wolf. None of the others were spared. Nearly 1,000 pirates all fell on the ground. Wow, there was a silence all around. The Blood Wolf and Jack, who were planning to shoot, suddenly stiffened there. Their eyes widened. I really don't understand. Why? For an instant, everyone fell. No one was spared, only 2 of them were left. Gu. Shuilong swallowed his throat, feeling his throat dry, and a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. What is this ability? It turned out that thousands of soldiers were defeated like a mountain, and all of them fell. Just a few seconds. Thousands of people, all fell down and fell into a coma. Both of them had a lot of experience, but they faced the scene before them. It's all dumbfounded. Pause time. The atmosphere has become weird. The two were stiff there, like robots. It is neither standing nor moving. What happened to this? Trash cleared. Kill them, Gallo. Ye Chen said calmly. Good host. Gallo smiled honestly, and then rushed over. There was brilliance all over, and a magic circle appeared to rise loomingly. Jack, solve this guy. The blood wolf returned to his senses, and quickly yelled at Jack, who was still bewildered next to him. If they don't make a move, they will really be killed. It is good. Jack came back to his senses and knew that the situation in front of him was urgent. He quickly joined forces with the blood wolf and faced Gallo. However, the two attacks seemed to be tickling to Gallo. Gallo didn't bother to avoid it, so he took it abruptly. Chang chang. The sword slashed across Gallo and shot Hanabi as if slashing on steel. Bang. Gallo pushed the blood wolf down with one hand. Give a firm grip. The blood wolf burst its neck, separated its head, and dropped its head on the ground. On the other side, Jack saw this scene, without thinking of anything, and ran outside. Just now, a sword gas swept out, and instantly penetrated Jack's body. Step on. Accompanied by the sound of footsteps. Crane and Taudu Gion walked in slowly. Looking at the scene in front of him, he frowned, then his eyes fell on Ye Chen's body, shining with light. Chapter 19. Conqueror's Haki. Looking at the pirates lying on the ground. A ray of light flashed through his clear eyes. Ye Chen owns Conqueror's Haki. She was not very surprised. Even Garp must be treated with caution. Even Garp has to admit the genius and evildoer of strength. Owning Conqueror's Haki is not surprising. Instead, if Ye Chen didn't have Conqueror's Haki, Crane would be even more surprised. Garp gave Ye Chen a high evaluation. It is the highest evaluation that he has heard from Garp over the years. Ye Chen. See Ye Chen in the distance. Taudu pulled out the sword in his hand, staring at Ye Chen with a serious expression, breath blooming all over his body. People outside may not know Ye Chen's strength. But as a senior at Marine, Taudu knows Ye Chen well. The strength of this person may be at the level of 3 Admiral. It is far from what they can contend. Plus, next to Ye Chen there are strange creatures like Gallo. Really want to fight. They have no advantage at all here. See two people. Ye Chen raised his eyebrows lightly, with some small surprises. He didn't expect to meet these two people in such a place. Ye Chen said, I didn't expect to meet you here. Are you planning to arrest us? The words came out. Taudu became more nervous, his eyes condensed, and he dared not relax at all times. I'm afraid Ye Chen and Gallo will make a sudden move. At this time, Crane takes a step forward. Putting Taudu outside, she looked at Ye Chen and said lightly, according to the relationship between Marine and the pirate, we really want to do it to you. Single quote. It's just that I'm not sure if we are your opponents or not, so I don't have any plans for that. Change to another pirate. Crane is determined to do it. But Ye Chen alone was hesitant. Mainly still unable to confirm Ye Chen's strength. Garp also said before that when Ye Chen played against him again, he obviously didn't give his full strength, maybe even half of his strength. But even so, there was a tie with Garp, and the two were flat, and no one could do anything about it. It is enough to illustrate the strength of Ye Chen. The strength is likely to reach the level of 3 Admiral. Although the two of them are very powerful, even Taudu is extremely close to Admiral's level, but if they really fight, even Crane can't be sure whether they can really catch Ye Chen. Or maybe it was defeated by Ye Chen and then killed. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It's so strange that you don't even dare to do it anymore. It seems that after the old guy Garp returned, he brought you a lot of information. Crane didn't make a move. Ye Chen is indeed a little surprised. After all, Crane and Taudu are not weak when they join forces. Even the 3 Admiral feel that they can draw a tie. But even so, Crane still did not choose to shoot. This shows that Crane has wisdom beyond ordinary people, or the intelligence given by Garp may describe Ye Chen's strength very high. Since they don't make a move, Ye Chen is too lazy. At the same time, in each building, the Peaker's eyes widened. They couldn't believe that even a Marine of his level, when facing Ye Chen, couldn't even choose to make a move. This is really weird. Is it possible that Marine and Ye Chen have any secrets? In other words, Ye Chen's strength shocked the Crane. Regardless of the reason, it is undoubtedly earth-shattering news. Sister, why don't we make a move? If we join hands, we may not be able to catch them. Taudu couldn't understand Crane's decision. Even though Ye Chen is powerful, it's impossible to be better than both of them. Don't underestimate these two guys. Even if we can deal with Ye Chen, we may not be able to deal with the guy next to him. That guy brought me a lot of pressure, maybe weaker than Ye Chen, but the difference shouldn't be too big. Really have to do it, the two of us are far from rivals. Crane whispered. At the same time, he looked at Gallo's eyes with a touch of dread. This strange creature. The strength is absolutely strong, and it is estimated that it is also a strong combat power in New World. Hear this. Tautu's pupils shrank and looked at Gallo when he saw Gallo's simple face. She was filled with doubts. This guy doesn't look strong either. On the contrary, it looks a little honest, easy to see people, without any sense of danger. Since Lieutenant General Crane does not intend to attack us, we are too lazy to know how to do it. Ye Chen greeted Gallo, and then directly sat on his back and said to the crane, I can help you a lot, you can just take these pirates away. The matter is resolved. Ye Chen didn't bother to stay here. I bought things anyway. After speaking, Gallo's figure grew, and then, under the eyes of everyone, it turned into a rainbow light and headed towards the sky. Watching Ye Chen and others leave, Crane had a deep gaze and said softly, these two guys are incredible. If you enter New World, you will probably change the structure of New World. I heard that Kaido is very interested in Gallo. If the two meet, it will probably cause some fighting. Kaido is interested in Gallo. This is no secret for a long time. Because a long time ago, Kaido ordered the people below to collect the traces of Ye Chen. Just for Gallo. People of these major forces know it. They also understand. The Black Crow pirates and Kaido pirates will have a battle sooner or later. But basically everyone is not optimistic about the Black Crow pirates. In addition to the gap in the number of people, the disparity in strength is also extremely huge. Kaido won't talk about it. He is known as the strongest creature in the sea, land and air, and he is invincible single-handedly. And Ye Chen is just someone who just went to sea. The obvious record is not much. Sister, if you two run into each other, Ye Chen and the others will be crushed. It's hard to say. Ye Chen is quite hidden. Although he is a little younger, it makes me feel that this guy is not easy and may not win, but Kaido may not be able to get any benefits, and there is Gallo's presence, Kaido and others may not Ye Chen can be found. At the same time, above the sky, Ye Chen lay resting on Gallo's back. Just now, a voice suddenly sounded. New sign in task released. Please go to area number 18 of the Sabaody Islands for a 1-month time limit. Chapter 20. This round of sign in missions turned out to be Sabaody Islands. Interesting. Hear the system's prompt tone. The corner of Ye Chen's mouth appeared to be curved. This is very interesting, according to his current relationship with Marine. If you go to the Sabaody Islands, I wonder if Admiral will be dispatched. Although he didn't do anything hurtful. But it is difficult to guarantee whether Marine will make this decision. After all, he also received some rumors. Marine is very important to him internally, and even planned to dispatch Marine. Although it's just a gossip. But it may not be credible. Come on, just use them to try my current strength. Although they killed a lot of people. But these guys are not strong. In addition to Garp and Analu, they can still get together. The rest of the people are really not good. But if Marine Admiral is dispatched, that's very different. After all, Admiral is a man standing on top of Pirate World. It can be considered top combat power. Through their battles, he can see his strength more intuitively. Let's go, Gallo. At the destination this time, we may meet an incredible guy. Hear this. Gallo. Unbelievable guy. Is the owner Marine Admiral? Are 4 emperors? It might be Admiral. If it's Admiral, that's good. I heard that I might encounter Admiral. Gallo became excited immediately. During this time, Gallo also had a general understanding of the world. The top combat power of the pirates is the 4 emperors. Marine's top combat power is Admiral. These guys are people at the top of the world. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. After Ye Chen left, Crane and Tautu greeted Marine to arrest the members of the Blood Wolf and Jack pirates. Because these guys were stunned, the Marines caught it extremely easily. At this time, in the cabin of a warship, Crane looked at the phone worm on the round table in front of him. The phone worm wore glasses and his face was calm. Looking at the phone worm, Suru calmly said, It's me, Sengoku. What's the matter, Crane? I just met Ye Chen. Over there. Have you played against each other? Not far from Marine headquarters. Hearing that Crane met Ye Chen and others, Sengoku was a little excited, as if he had been waiting for a long time. The look of excitement makes it hard to understand. Shuiyu Town, some distance from Marine headquarters, can't get through for a short time. That's a shame. I originally planned to send Akainu out. In order to catch Ye Chen. Sengoku made Akainu give up some tasks and waited. In order to catch Ye Chen. Although Ye Chen didn't do anything harmful. But Ye Chen's terrifying talent and strength made Sengoku feel that if Ye Chen is not caught, sooner or later it will be a scourge. Be prepared for danger in times of peace. We didn't fight those 2 guys, I let them go. Speaking of which, Crane's eyes were deep, and he said lightly, Sengoku, are we really going to do something with Ye Chen? What he did not harm the world, nor did it harm Marine. On the contrary, he did a lot of good things. The people he killed were also pirates. At the time, the Marine he killed was also a scum. In general, he is a little different from other pirates. Single quote. We have done this to him, is it really good for Marine's future? Heard this sentence. Sengoku fell into silence for a moment, and then said in a deep voice, I understand what you mean, Ye Chen's actions are really not stained, but it is true that he killed Colonel Marine. Single quote. And you also know that Garp has a great opinion of Ye Chen. He even said that Ye Chen has reached his level. Do you know what this represents? Single quote. Crane shook his whole body and his pupils shrank. She knew that Garp had a high opinion of Ye Chen. But I don't know how high it is. We'll put Ye Chen on the same level as him. Crane still knows Garp's strength very well. After all, after decades of getting along, Garp's strength lies in marine. Definitely the strongest one. If Ye Chen had the strength of Garp at his age, it would be extremely terrifying. Crane took a deep breath. If Ye Chen has this kind of strength, she knows what it means. Crane, if Garp's prediction is true, Ye Chen's existence will threaten the world government and marine, but the most important thing is that it affects the balance. His appearance will change the pattern of the world. Once the current balance is changed, the impact will be great, far from what we can imagine. And you also understand that Ye Chen is destined to be a pirate. Although he has not done anything extraordinary now, he will do extraordinary things sooner or later as a pirate, not to mention Ye Chen is too young. If he is allowed to let him go, can't imagine in the future. And Five Elders has also issued an order to get Ye Chen up as soon as possible, or kill it. Heard these words, Ye Chen said, I understand. Single quote. Five Elders gave orders, and this was not something they could control, although she didn't need to understand why Five Elders gave this order. But once Five Elders ordered it, it meant that this matter could not be changed by any of them. Even the Marshal Sengoku didn't use this qualification. After a long time, He Shensheng said, Sengoku, I always feel that doing something with Ye Chen will be the biggest mistake of marine and even world government. That guy gives me a very strange feeling. Single quote. The more so, the more you have to do it to kill the danger. If it fails. Heard this sentence. Sengoku was speechless. Yup, what if it fails? Chapter 21. Sengoku was silent. If you can't catch Ye Chen, the consequences will be unimaginable. Ye Chen is only 18 or 9 years old, but he already possesses the strength that may be comparable to those of a Kainu, or even that of Garp. If you are giving him 10 years, even 20 years. In the future, no one may be his opponent. At that time, marine will be very difficult. Difficulty. After pondering for a moment, Sengoku said, Crane, I know what I mean, but now we have to do that. Even if it fails, we will do it. Ye Chen is too threatening. He is an ambitious person. If we take advantage of him and get it done, we will have no chance in the future. Hear this. Crane had no words and fell into silence. What Sengoku said is not wrong. Riding on Ye Chen's lack of success is their best opportunity. If Ye Chen continues to develop, the lowest in the future is also a 4 emperors. This evaluation is not excessive. Ye Chen now has the strength comparable to the 3 admiral, and will definitely be stronger in the future, and sooner or later he will be able to step into the level of Whitebeard and others. The 4 emperors have given them enough headaches. If there is another one, they will not be able to accept it. And 4 emperors may not be the end of Ye Chen. Hey. He sighed. I always feel that it is not a good thing to start with Ye Chen, but now that you have decided, then do it. This kind of thing is no longer something she can intervene. Sengoku can still persuade her. But on the 5 elders' side, she didn't have this qualification. And even if she said it, 5 elders will not bird her. The Sabaody Islands are located near the headquarters of Marine, and there is the world's largest mangrove, Alki mangrove. Because the roots of the tree are always exposed on the water, the Sabaody Islands are formed. The whole island is composed of 79 trees, all with numbers. Each tree has towns and facilities. People call these 79 islands the Sabaody Islands. The regional division of Sabaody Islands is also very clear, based on the number on the tree sad face. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. Numbers 1 to 29 are illegal areas such as human trafficking shops. Numbers 30 to 39 are amusement parks. Numbers 40 to 49 are sightseeing areas, selling local products. Number 50 to 59 are shipyards with coating artisans. Numbers 60 to 69 are the entry and exit areas of marine and the government. 70 to 79 are the hotel street and other places. The biggest feature of the Sabaody Islands is that the roots of the Archie mangroves secrete a special natural resin due to respiration. The resin expands with air to form bubbles and then fly into the sky. Since bubbles are only suitable for the climate of Alki mangroves, once the bubbles leave the climate of the Sabaody Islands, the resin component will blow up because they cannot fully exert their power. Bubble cars, bubble Ferris wheels, houses built on bubbles. Bubble culture permeates every part of Sabaody Island. As it is the only way to New World, so many pirates, merchants and bounty hunters gathered here. In the Sabaody Islands, there are still nobles of the world, also known as celestial dragons. They are the descendants of the 20 kings who established the huge organization, world government, 800 years ago. They are always above the top and abuse their power in order not to breathe like ordinary people. The heir always wears a mask. If someone dares to hurt celestial dragons, Admiral of Headquarters will lead an army to crusade. Therefore, celestial dragon's injury is the biggest news on this island and even New World. If it is dead, it will be even more big news that will shock the world. However, due to the power of the world government, the supreme message of celestial dragons permeated everyone, so there has been no news of celestial dragons being killed for many years. At this time, above the sky over the Sabaody Islands, The huge figure came from a distance, and the huge body almost covered the entire Chambord Islands. Are all blocked in the shadows. What is that? What monster? It's so huge. Single quote. That seems to be Gallo. Gallo of the Black Crow Pirates. Yes, I heard that Gallo's figure can be adjusted. When he was his biggest, it was comparable to a mountain. Now it seems more than that. This figure is too huge. Single quote. It's horrible. Single quote. The major regions of the Chambord Islands. Everyone looked at the Big Mac in the sky, their eyes widened, and their faces were full of shock. The giant in front of him is really too big, almost bigger than the entire Chambord Islands. In a certain area, after seeing this scene, a marine immediately contacted with a phone bug. The Black Crow Pirates Gallo appeared in the Chambord Islands, and Ye Chen is very likely to be here. I see, you send someone to stare at him, don't let them go. Yes. Single quote. Simultaneously. In other places, many people are also in touch. Boss, we saw Gallo of the Black Crow Pirates in Chambord Islands, Ye Chen himself should be here. Isn't he in Shuiyu town? He ran to the Chambord Islands so quickly. It may be because of Gallo's flight, that's why he can be so fast. I know. Gallo's debut. There have been some changes secretly throughout the Chambord Islands. The interweaving of major forces. The undercurrent surged. At this time, in a certain area, a wretched-looking man with a bubble mask on his head, his face was full of anger, pointed at Gallo in the sky, and said angrily. How is this going? In the Chambord Islands, someone dares to override us. How disrespectful is this? The words came out. The guard next to the man quickly explained. Master Bals, this is Gallo from the Black Crow Pirates. The Black Crow Pirates may have come to Chambord. Heard this sentence. Bals Saint became even more annoyed, and said coldly, a pirate dared to show off in the Chambord Islands and told Marine to send Admiral to kill those guys. No one in this world can stand on our heads, as long as anyone dares to dare to die. Gallo sailed in the air, shrouded him in the shadows, making him feel insulted, as if being stepped under his feet, making him very angry. As celestial dragons, has he been so wrong there? Was there such a humiliation there? Chapter 22. Gallo was on his head. For Balsan, it is disrespectful. It was furious on the spot. Ask the people below to contact Marine. Dispatch Marine Admiral. Let Marine Admiral destroy the Black Crow Pirates. For him, this is just a pirate group. As long as Marine Admiral takes action, it will definitely be destroyed. No doubt. No need to worry. Because he did too much of such things. It's just that he doesn't know. This time things. Far from being as simple as he thought. Chambord Islands. A certain area. Gallo shrank and landed slowly toward the ground. Bang. A dull one. Gallo's figure fell on the ground, and the huge impact immediately caused the ground to shatter, and the spider web-like cracks spread in all directions. Ye Chen got down from Gallo. Standing on the ground, looking around. I don't know which area this is, I have to ask someone to ask. When Gallo came down, he forgot to go to the 18th area with Gallo. So Gallo landed casually. To this, he needs to find area number 18 now. Although it was signed in the Chambord Islands. But you have to go to the 18th area to sign in successfully. Looked for a moment. Ye Chen saw a small house in the distance, a building similar to a bar. Go over there and ask. Ye Chen greeted Gallo and rushed over. He can't be sure where this is right now. I can only ask someone to ask. After a while, the two of them walked to the front of the pub and looked at the sign on the top with a weird expression, Shachi's ripping off. Single quote. Knowing the original work, Ye Chen is no stranger to this tavern. Because this is a pub run by Rayleigh's wife Shachi. Rayleigh also lives here, only after the disbandment of the Roger Pirates. Rayleigh came here to live in seclusion. It has been nearly 2 decades. I saw this shop in front of me. Ye Chen knows where he is. Area 13. It's not too far from the 18th area. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Click. Ye Chen pushed the door in. There was a loud noise from inside. Although the space of the tavern is not large, it also has many guests. Welcome. This guest, do you have anything to drink? On the bar, a slender mature woman, about 30 or 40 years old, smiled at Ye Chen and said. She had a cigarette between her fingers, and a slight smile appeared on her face. Shachi, also known as Aunt Sha, Rayleigh's wife. Although it has not been admitted in the original work, it does have this hint in some small theatrical editions. When the guests inside saw Ye Chen and Gallo, they fell silent. The surrounding atmosphere fell into silence. There is a sound when the needle falls. The guests in there are marine and pirates, but they are not well-known characters. Madam, do you know how to get to the 18th area? Ye Chen said lightly. Gallo stood behind him, like a patron saint, with a simple face but full of pressure. Heard this. Aunt Sha took out a map, handed it to Ye Chen, and said with a smile, this is the map of Chambord Islands, you can find it here. Ye Chen took the map, put it away, and said, how much? Single quote. This doesn't cost much, you don't need to pay, and you can see the famous Black Crow Ye Chen, this is enough. Thank you. By the way, if Rayleigh comes back, remember to say hello for me. The words came out. Aunt Shaw's pupils shrank, and the cigarette in her hand suddenly fell. How did he know? Does he know Rayleigh? But I have never heard the guy Rayleigh discuss her. If it's not acquaintance. So how did he know? Shachi was shocked in her heart. Although Rayleigh lives in seclusion in the Sabaody Islands, it is no secret. But it is only limited. Some big forces know. Ordinary people don't even know. The main reason is that Rayleigh is a character from 20 years ago, and most people have forgotten him a long time ago. Ye Chen is obviously not from that era. Normally it is impossible to know. And the news of Rayleigh didn't spread much. So not many people know. Ye Chen knows. This is very strange. This guy said that on purpose. Just why does he say that? Aunt Shaw frowned. She didn't understand the purpose of Ye Chen's words. When that old guy comes back, you have to cross-examine him. Because of Ye Chen's words. Let Aunt Shaw leave some thoughts, and at the same time brought some trouble to Rayleigh. At the same time, Marine headquarters. 3 Admiral, representing Marine's supreme combat power, rarely gather in the Marshal's office. The Black Crow guy is so ostentatious, celestial dragons were angry when they heard that they appeared. Kizaru cocked Erlang's legs, squeezed his mouth, and said lazily. That guy asked Gallo to cover the entire Sabaody Islands. The sun was covered. Everyone was shrouded in shadows. Celestial dragons were also in it. With their personalities, you can't get used to these, Black Crows. This guy's approach is undoubtedly offensive to them. Aokiji lay on the sofa lazily, took off the blindfold on his face, and said faintly. This guy finally appeared. Akainu said blankly and coldly. In order to catch Ye Chen, he stopped the mission for a long time, just waiting for Ye Chen's position. Now finally let him wait. Marshal Sengoku, now that the Black Crow has appeared, what are you going to do? Just let Akainu dispatch, or do we all dispatch? Kizaru teased. Akainu has the task of capturing Ye Chen. Normally speaking, Akainu can be dispatched directly. Now Sengoku has summoned them all. Obviously, Akainu is not alone. Sengoku pushed his glasses and said in a deep voice, this time the mission is not trivial. The strength of Ye Chen, Garp said over there, you should have some understanding. Originally, I planned to send Sakazuki alone, but celestial dragons put pressure on us to kill Ye Chen. Single quote. In order not to let Ye Chen leave, I am going to send 2 of you out. 2 Admiral are dispatched, just to deal with a rookie pirate group. Even with a hunch, Kizaru and Aokiji are a little surprised. This treatment is almost awake. Even Roger didn't have this treatment, he just went out to sea and was chased by 2 Marines. Chapter 23. 2 Admiral are dispatched. Heard these words. Kizaru and Aokiji suddenly became more energetic. This is no small matter. Not that they can paddle. 2 Admiral are dispatched. This shows the importance of the Black Crow pirates. It also means that world government and Marine are bound to win. Sengoku looked at Aokiji and Kizaru and said, who of you 2 wants to be with Akainu? Akainu must be inside. After all, Akainu has been idle for a long time for Ye Chen's affairs. If Akainu is not allowed to do it, it is estimated that this guy's personality will definitely become irritable. And for the task to be completed, Sengoku felt that Akainu must also be dispatched. After all, Akainu is the strongest among the 3, and he has a guarantee of shots. As for the remaining one, just choose between Aokiji and Kizaru. It's just that 2 people are not easy to choose, and the strength of the 2 is not much different. Because of their ability, each has its own advantages. Aokiji's ability can seal the surroundings so that others cannot leave. As for Kizaru's characteristic is fast, few people can keep up with him at his speed. Marshal Sengoku, this matter will let Aokiji and Akainu pass. My old bone has just returned to the headquarters, and I still need to rest for a while. Kaido's fist is uncomfortable, I'm now falling apart. Kizaru narrowed his mouth and said faintly. It didn't take him long to return to the headquarters. Before that, Kizaru was on a mission in New World, and he happened to meet Kaido, and then the 2 fought, and finally fought for 1 day and 1 night. Kizaru left at his own speed. Although his strength is good, he still can't match it in the face of a monster like Kaido. After all, Kaido is known as the strongest creature in sea, land and air, single-handedly invincible. Don't talk about Kizaru himself. Even Garp may not be able to beat Kaido. Hear this. Sengoku pondered for a moment, and said, that's fine, let Aokiji and Akainu go there together. He also understands the strength of Kaido. Kizaru and Kaido have been playing for so long, but the state is not very good, not in perfect state, and Ye Chen and the others are not ordinary people, which may cause accidents. Hey, what a trouble. Hearing that he wanted to go by himself, Aokiji raised his head lazily, his tone unwillingly. Although unwilling to pass. But there is no way. After all, Kizaru has a reason, he can't go if he doesn't. Huh, what's the trouble, it's just a kid, if you don't want to go, I can solve it alone. Hearing Aokiji's tone, Akainu was very impatient. The 2 have completely different personalities, a bit like their abilities. Some are intolerable. Akainu can't understand Aokiji's lazy character. It would be great if you could decide. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Aokiji stretched and yawned. He didn't want to go. But the orders of world government and Sengoku are there. Even if he is reluctant, he will pass. And he also knew that celestial dragons also seemed to be paying attention to this matter. With so many eyes, even if he wants to lazy paddling. You two prepare, hurry up to the Sabaody Islands. Be sure to get rid of the Black Crow pirates. Of course, it's best if you can catch it alive. Single quote. Sengoku said in a deep voice. Yes, subsequently. The two left the office, ready to travel to Sabaody Islands. Watching the two leave, Kizaru slowly got up. If nothing happens, I will also go, Marshal Sengoku. Wait a minute, Kizaru. Sengoku stopped Kizaru, hesitated, and said, you should also be prepared for possible accidents. Gallo of the Black Crow Pirates has the ability to fly. I am worried that Aokiji and Akainu may not be able to stop it. Heard these words, Kizaru looked bitter. I see. Single quote. This clearly doesn't let him rest. I thought I could rest for a while when I came back. The junction of the 17th and 18th areas. This is an intersection. As the only passage between the two areas. Many people pass by here every day. At this time, Ye Chen and Gallo came to the front of the passage. Looking at the sign in front of him, he smiled. It's finally here. Single quote. In front of him, it's the 18th area. Just go through this channel. He will be able to sign in successfully and get a new sign in reward. Just now, a voice sounded. Celestial dragons are here, you guys get down on your knees. The words came out. The faces of passers-by who had been walking changed greatly, and then they saw a phone-like mask in the distance. Suddenly, everyone knelt down in panic, not daring to raise their heads. It won't be so coincidental. Ye Chen smack. He didn't expect to encounter celestial dragons in such a place. To know, although celestial dragons are often active in the Sabaody Islands, they rarely come to this area. Captain, what happened to them? Seeing everyone kneeling down, Gallo asked in a puzzled way. He didn't understand. Why did these guys kneel down in front of them? Is it afraid of them? Ye Chen explained. Celestial dragons are here. Then Captain, what shall we do? Gallo's face changed slightly. He also knows a lot about the existence of celestial dragons. These guys are not easy to mess with. Although they are not afraid, if they are moved, it will cause a lot of trouble. Kill them. Ye Chen shrugged. What else can I do now? You can only do it. Could it be that they really have to kneel down like those people? Impossible. Why don't those two kneel down? The people next to them were a little surprised when they saw Ye Chen and Gallo lingering on their knees. To know, in the Sabaody Islands, except for a few people, all the others knelt down when they saw celestial dragons. Just now, under the stars Gongyu, celestial dragons with an arrogant face slowly walked over. Chapter 24. As this looking for death. I don't even kneel down when I see celestial dragons. These two people seem to be members of the Black Crow Pirates. The Black Crow Pirates that gained fame recently. That's right, it's them. That burly, building-like creature is Gallo of the Black Crow Pirates, and the young one next to it should be Ye Chen. Single quote. There is a good show. No one dares to despise celestial dragons. Everyone was talking in a low voice, looking at Gallo and Ye Chen standing not far away, full of horror. Ignore celestial dragons. Seeing celestial dragons don't kneel down, this is the first time they have seen it in many years. Just now, the guard of celestial dragons came over and saw Ye Chen and Gallo standing, his face suddenly changed. He walked to the front and shouted angrily, the humble inferior, saw Lord Bowles kneel down. The words came out, everyone was shocked and bowed their heads. They knew that something big was about to happen next. Provoked celestial dragons, no matter who it is, Marine Admiral will be pursued. At this time, Bars Saint heard that someone was not kneeling facing him, and his face became gloomy. Gallo had just shrouded him in the shadows, which made him very upset, and now there was someone who dared to ignore their celestial dragons. You untouchables dare to provoke our majesty again and again. Bals Saint's face turned black, he directly picked up the pistol at his waist and shot Ye Chen. Bang! A dull one. In the silent atmosphere, a violent gunfire sounded. Click. Gallo stood in front of Ye Chen, and the bullet fell on his body, sputtering a trace of sparks, but leaving no trace. Gario, get that guy here. Yes. Gallo nodded, stepping on the ground. Boom. The ground suddenly shattered, and the terrifying body shot out. How dare you? The guard of celestial dragons widened his eyes and looked at Gallo rushing over in disbelief. Does anyone dare to attack celestial dragons? This is simply incredible. It hasn't appeared in many years. At least since he made his voice heard, no one has ever heard of anyone daring to attack celestial dragons. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. You trash, killed this guy in the past. Seeing Gallo's huge body, coupled with a body that couldn't leave no traces of bullets, Balser Saint suddenly panicked. The whole person fell to the ground with a look of trepidation. Faced with death threats, anyone will change color. Not to mention, this is the first time Barth Saint has experienced a death crisis. Boom. The guards of Saint Villas are just trash fish, which can deal with ordinary people, but they face strong men like Gallo. Vulnerable. Under 2 or 3 punches, all the guards were defeated. Damn it, do you know what you are doing now? Lousy as celestial dragons, if you follow me with a hair, First we'll let Marine dispatch Admiral to kill you all. Single quote. Seeing Gallo's huge body, Bals snapped. Gario is too noisy, let him shut up. Snapped. Gallo slapped Saint Bals in the face. In an instant, the wretched face of Saint Barth suddenly sank, his teeth splashed out with blood, and his entire face suddenly collapsed and became even more weird. Gallo's power was already great, and Bals Saint's physique was not as good as ordinary people. Although Gallo deliberately controlled it, he almost died. Half of his face is gone. Boom. The eyes of the people kneeling down widened. They couldn't believe it. Even if you face celestial dragons being rude, you still dare to fight celestial dragons. This simply doesn't put celestial dragons in the eyes. In fact, Ye Chen did not put celestial dragons in his eyes. Everyone trembled and shivered. My mind was blank. They have witnessed a big event that may sweep the whole world. Someone really dared to do something against celestial dragons, a world nobleman. You know, for so many years, no one has ever dared to do something with celestial dragons. Even the 4 emperors are a little afraid of celestial dragons. It's not that you are afraid of celestial dragons. It's not like causing trouble because of these guys. They are not afraid of the combat power of the world government, but they also have to consider the people under their command. Once the celestial dragons are killed, they are entangled by marine or agents of the world government, which will cause a lot of trouble for their forces. At this time, Gallo lifted Balsan to Ye Chen with one hand. Looking at Bals Saint, who had a rotten face and fell into a coma. Ye Chen laughed and said, Gallo looked for a sword, chopped off this guy's limbs, and then hung him on a tree. Tell marine and world government that if they want to do something to me, this celestial dragons is their end. It is good. Gallo nodded, then looked for a sword everywhere, and easily looked down Bals's limbs, and then thrust it directly into the chest of Saint Bals, like a barbecue, and threw it towards a tree in the distance. Bang! A dull one. The sharp sword was inserted directly into the tree, and Saint Bals, who had no limbs, hung on it. Subsequently, Ye Chen and Gallo went to the 18th area accordingly. Pass through 2 areas. When stepping into the land of number 18 area, an icy reminder sounded. Ding! Congratulations on the successful signing of host. Task reward, summon a seeds. Chapter 25. A seeds. The sound of the system is heard. Ye Chen smiled at the corner of his mouth. This time the task of summoning is not easy. A seeds, the female villain in Slayer, possesses abilities similar to Aokiji, but compared to Aokiji's abilities, she lacks the elementalization of the Logia fruit, but is open to abilities. There is no doubt, a seeds is stronger, because they have all been developed to the extent that they can freeze time and space. Even time has been stagnated. Extremely powerful. If it is placed in the pirate world, it is appropriate to have a strong admiral starting with strength, plus Gallo. He now has 2 admiral powerhouses. These days, he has been teaching Gallo armament Haki and observation Haki. The effect is not bad. I'm already very proficient, and may not be as good as those senior Haki powerhouses, but it can be used completely and can be used in actual combat. Summon a seeds. Seeing no one around, Ye Chen whispered in his heart. Quickly, a white light appeared, and a slender figure appeared. Wearing a white military uniform, with long blue hair, he has a delicate face and a fiery figure, and his blue eyes exude a strange light. This is a very attractive woman. Even ordinary people can't take their eyes away at a glance. At the same time, she has a different breath, with a strong sharp edge, like a sharp weapon. The Ice Queen, Ace Day, Acedes, have seen the master. As soon as Acedes appeared, he kneeled in front of Ye Chen respectfully and said respectfully. As long as the characters are summoned by the system, they will recognize Ye Chen from the bottom of their hearts, and at the same time be regarded as the master, and will never defect. Acedes, get up. Don't call me master from now on, call me captain. Single quote. Although called the master, it sounds very cool. But for Ye Chen, the characters summoned are all his companions. He didn't want to use such words very much. Yes. Master Captain. Ace Daisy smiled slightly, his face was delicate, everything was awakened, with a unique charm. This is an evildoer. Ye Chen sighed slightly in his heart, this woman's charm is too strong, but also strong. I don't know who Marine will send over this time. Hope is not an admiral, if there is only one, it's meaningless. Single quote. Ye Chen looked at the scene in the distance, gazing through the forest and staring at the sea. In fact, celestial dragons are not dead, Marine Admiral will definitely come. It's just that he wants to know who it is. There are a few others. If there is only one admiral, it is really not enough. Celestial dragons are dead. It didn't take long. This news spread throughout the Chambord Islands in a very short time. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Everyone was scared to death when they heard the news. Has fallen into an extremely shocking state. His head was blank. It seems that there is no reaction. At this time, Shao-Chi ripped off. Hear that celestial dragons are dead. The guests inside suddenly stiffened there, as if being frozen, and the wine bottle in his hand fell directly to the ground. At this time, a middle-aged pirate came back to his senses, grabbed the intelligent speaker, and roared, really? Someone would dare to kill celestial dragons in such a place. Is he not afraid of death? And who did it? Single quote. Damn it, when celestial dragons die, Marine Admiral will definitely come over, we can't stay here anymore. The pirates panicked. Once celestial dragons die, Marine will definitely send Admiral. They will suffer too, although the target is not them, but they will also take care of these pirates by the way. So I heard the news. They are all dumbfounded. Someone actually did something to celestial dragons. Although many people are unhappy with celestial dragons, it is also in their hearts, and they dare not show it on the surface. Ye Chen from the Black Crow Pirates. And after he killed celestial dragons, he also chopped off celestial dragons' limbs and inserted them in the trunk, telling everyone not to do anything to him. Once he did it, the celestial dragons would end up. Damn, how dare this guy. Just kill celestial dragons. If you still do something like this, the world government will definitely not let Ye Chen go, and Marine should be asked to settle the Sabaody Islands soon. I can't stay here, I have to leave quickly. Single quote. What a lunatic. Single quote. The pirates in the tavern hurriedly packed their things. Ready to leave the Sabaody Islands. There is such a thing. The Sabaody Islands are not something they can stay with, they can only leave as soon as possible, otherwise they will suffer. The scene in the tavern is just a microcosm of the Sabaody Islands. After hearing that celestial dragons had been killed, many pirates are scared, hastily put down the things in his hands, ready to leave the Sabaody Islands. And the sooner the better. Once you can't leave, wait until Marine comes over. They are all going to die. Inside the pub, looking at the tavern that had become empty, Aunt Shaw looked calm and took a cigarette slowly. This is. An old figure came out from behind. The Sabaody Islands are not peaceful anymore. This Ye Chen kid was really bold and killed celestial dragons under the nose of the world government. Rayleigh shook his head, sighing. The Sabaody Islands are close to Marine headquarters and the Holy Land Mary Geois. It can be said that the world government is under the nose. Basically no one dares to provoke celestial dragons here. Because looking at the Marine headquarters is too close. Once provoke celestial dragons, Marine can rush over quickly. Even when they reach the summit, they would not dare to do such a thing. Because it's too much trouble. This is the nest of the world government. When celestial dragons die, everything will be messed up. In order to calm the anger of the world government, Marine may not be the only admiral dispatched this time. Aunt Shaw said lightly, send to Admiral, it is indeed possible. Rayleigh smiled softly. An admiral may not be able to stop those two people. Heard this, Aunt Shaw flicked the soot, and said faintly, they are just pirates who have just gone out to sea. Are you so confident in them? Know that you and him have never met before. Although I haven't seen it. Rayleigh. But in your information, didn't you say that Garp values this guy very much and thinks that Ye Chen has the level of strength of 3 admiral? If this information is true, 1 admiral is indeed not enough, and Ye Chen's companion is not an ordinary person. Finished. Rayleigh stretched and walked outside. See this scene. Aunt Shaw said lightly. Rayleigh, you have to think clearly, once you save that kid, there will be no such peaceful days in the future. Heard this. Rayleigh turned his head and said faintly, this kind of thing, where my old bones can participate, I just go for a walk. Finished. Rayleigh walked straight in. After a while, Aunt Shaw shook her head. After so many years, my heart has not calmed down. Single quote.